Scotty, beat me up.
Alright, captains, we are back on the bridge, and both bridges. Today, we have a special guest. We hope everyone is doing fine on a Sunday, starting off a new week. We have a chat here. We see Ids. Sir, hello.
Admiral, if you will come with me.
We have X. I can hear
Admiral,
it in my head.
if you will come with me.
I can hear it in my head. And we have CJ.
Captain on the bridge.
And of course, on the YouTube bridge, we have a Giant Dutch Viking. Is this on? Yes, sir. How are you?
Captain on the bridge.
And we have a Waldo.
Captain on the bridge.
Is it me or the strange time for you to stream as seeing the other streams? Just like Waldo said, I just due to in real life duties and such, I do start a lot later. I do, so I'm glad you can make it. Dwayne, sir, how you doing?
Captain on the bridge.
And we got Zez. Zez, oh my gosh, sir, thank you so much for that resub. I appreciate that, Zez, to you.
Admiral, if you will come with me.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate that so much. Hopefully you are doing well. And we have, I gotta love casual screen. He's gonna be so angry. I can't see it. Another hunter. Yes, indeed, another X hunter. How are you, sir? Correction X. Document from the 1000. Hello, sir. How are you?
Captain on the bridge.
And PC. How you doing?
Captain on the bridge.
Angel of Doom in the town. So I get you. That's true. Oh, PC. Sir, you didn't have to.
Admiral, if you will
Sir,
come
for
with
that
me.
sub, you're gonna become a VIP, and you can get any sound commands on the bridge here on Twitch. That's PG. Get that straight, all right? But thank you so much, PC. All right, going back to bed, yes. Thank you for stopping by, sir. I appreciate that.
Live long
Poctoy.
and prosper.
Oh my gosh, Poctoy. Sir, how are you? Thank you so much
Admiral,
for that
if you will
resub,
come
sir.
with me.
I appreciate it. Poctoy, I hope you're doing well. Thank you, thank you. And we have our captain doing good work on my alt tunes. Nice. All right, so captains, what we have going on here tonight is, as I mentioned, we're gonna have one of our many interviews that we're gonna do with fellow content creators on a one-on-one basis. This was sparked from a YouTube comment where they asked, they commented where I should do this. And also, this is gonna be a part of a bigger picture, which we'll reveal later on. We plan on doing about 6, maybe 8 of these. And the people that we will be interviewing or here on the bridge are the ones who helped us to start. And the ones that I've known long and such that Spencer's the first one. I actually met Spencer back in the show, the Stowcast, the show. That was 2016 is when I actually was interviewed by the show back then. And it was a huge honor because we had what do we have there? So we had Odin, Spencer, Sark, at the time Timberwolf, at the Teacher Kirby, Zeph Films, and those were individuals in the game that we watched their content. At the time was just kind of just starting off on our own. So again, thank you, PC, Poctoy. Thank you so much. I love you guys. Heat, have you seen the Orba? Hello, how are you? Welcome.
Captain on the bridge.
No, I have not. Oh, sorry. I've watched 3 episodes, season 1. I like it. I just haven't had a chance to get back into it. So I have a lot to catch up on, and hopefully we'll do that. I see what I'm saying. 69. Security Pro, sir, how you doing?
Captain on the bridge.
Good. In casual secret love for C. He's when. No, maybe, I don't know. So I've had some questions already sent over to him, and he's approved some of them. What we will do is ask them. And it's not the first time that Spencer's been on the bridge, obviously, but I thought this would be a great start because, like I said, my history with content creators. It dates back further with Spencer because I met him on the show and we've become really good friends, and he was one of the first ones that supported me on Twitch and gave me a lot of advice, especially when I really leaned into the YouTube channel and all that stuff. So please include this one. So I use my founder since I've been to buy some keys and get crap out of it, but low by the Sharks. Oh, nice. I love the Sharks cannon. That's a good one. So captains, what we will do is, if we could ask all the questions to be, because I don't want to scroll and miss any questions. So what we will do is, when we are at that point where we can ask some questions, we will do so and then see what Spencer wants to answer. Again, we have our set questions. I would maybe leave them at the end or maybe do them in the middle, because I know, again, our time frame is a little weird here for some. And we will do that. Sir, there are B-Noobs. Noobler, hello, sir. How you doing?
If you will come with me.
Without further ado, let's get Mr. Spencer here. He's gonna be so angry at me. I'm not even sure if he sees what I see. That's okay. Okay. Let's have Spencer. Where'd you go? We're starting that, are we? Come on, don't do that. Don't be like that, sir. Spencer.
Just speaking the truth there, buddy.
Hello, welcome to the bridge, and it's not like it's the first time, but we wanted to take this opportunity to get you on here.
It's nice meeting you.
It's nice meeting me. I was just telling them that I had met you back on the show, and those days where I would look, I think Wednesdays was when you guys did the show, correct? For some reason,
I'm pretty
Wednesday,
sure.
Yeah, Wednesday stuck in my mind, and it was covering like the week's news. It was covering a lot of mechanics talks and you know, kind of some of the things that we are starting to cover in the Stowcast that we sort of do here as well. But as I mentioned to everyone, as mentioned to you, we wanted to do these series of interviews because it was commented on one of the YouTube videos that I should do this, and it's part of a bigger sort of picture which will come into play. So I hope it's okay with you. I've already sent you the questions, but also there will be questions asked of you at a certain time from our fellow captains, and then you can pick and choose.
The sea shanties are still out of the question. But can we get some people in Triz's videos asking him to do some gambling streams, please? Come on, people. Ask him for the good things.
Okay, no, it's not.
100. I want to see Triz do a 100 promo pack opening. You know, he's got all these resources. He's a whale.
It's not.
Well, he's not even a whale. He's a kraken. Okay, let's be real. Triz is a level above he blows the whales out of the water. He is what they actually call a kraken.
I would say no, Spencer. See? There you go. Spencer and Triz are gonna do fitness shadowboxing. What, did I not switch the title again? No, I switched the title. I did. Is
it the right thing on Twitch?
I did. Wait, did I?
Watching Triz.
Did I? Hold on.
Oh no, I got an ad. I opened your Twitch on Edge because for whatever reason on Firefox the chat disconnects like every...
Yeah, I get that too sometimes. Park, how's it going? Intriguing, sir. Hello, Pax. And we have also oh, how do you say that? Akilagon? Hello, welcome.
Captain on the bridge.
So what we're gonna do, what, it does say shadowboxing. Hold on, edit stream. No, it says Star Trek Online. Oh, no, it's a Star Trek Online. Okay, anyways, so we're gonna get into it. Like, Galligan. Oh, Galligan. Okay, Galligan. Yeah, but your tags. Yes, that was weird. It doesn't change over. Shadowboxing? I mean, I do it, so we'll go with that. So, Spencer, one of the questions we want to start with you, sir, is gamble stream. No, that's not a question. No. sir. Behave, okay? What I wanted to ask first and foremost was, tell us about yourself. In that, answering that question, tell us something that no one knows yet.
I'm a fat guy from Iowa.
You have to do that.
You know, with Stowe, you know, Stowe helped me during like the years where my childhood wasn't the best, so Stowe was like a way for me to get out, you know, and interact with people and all that. So Stowe, I don't know where I'm going with this, Triz. Stowe is something that, you know, I've had my ups and downs with, but it helped me through some rough times, and I don't know. Fat guy for the win, yes. Boy kid, yes. I don't know where I was going to go with that, Triz.
Just
Like
keep going.
I've read something in chat and like
This is how you want to answer it, sir. So you tell me when you're.
Yeah. Well, you know, for me, Stowe is. I haven't really always treated it as a game. It's been like, you know, more of a social outing, I'd say. But when I actually play the game, a lot of people think I'm just all about the DPS, but that's always, you know, a bit more of a side thing for me. My true focus in the game is, it's going to come as a surprise to you, futures. It's gambling.
How come I didn't see that?
Something people don't know about me is that playing Star Trek Online turned me into a gambling addict.
But I think you do it in a way that you know how to use the system to not necessarily. I mean, I do. Correct me if I'm wrong. You do put in real life resources into it, but you know, I don't think you go stupidly overboard.
I looked actually at how much I put in Stowe over the past decade, and 2021 was like to I think when I did the comparison in 2021, I pretty much had put as much into the game as I had every year up to that. I don't really put that much into Stowe. Most of the stuff I've gotten over the years was just being in the right spot at the right time, you know, with the market stuff, you know? Like, look at what happened last year for me. I came back when the cross faction stuff was being removed, and I had all those trait boxes, all the console boxes. Like the reason I was able to like open, I think 20 or 30,000 lock boxes last year was because of just all those assets that I had, all the DPRMs, all the SAD boxes. It's just being right place, right time, having the right things in the inventory that would increase and blow up in value later.
The sniper. Matthew, hello, sir. How are you?
How many of those notes did he prepare? This first question was always going to be a bit rough, and I said that to Triz, like figuring out how to answer that. Like, is something about myself that nobody knows?
Still haven't answered that one.
Oh no. I don't even have a good answer for that one, to be honest with you. There's not much that I can think of. Like, I feel like any of the people that have been around me in Stowe know most that there is to know about me.
Let's dive deep.
Dive deeper.
Think of maybe something that has affected your sort of growing up, and it doesn't have to be, it's not negative, it could be positive, something that changed you, something that maybe you had a realization that, you know, this is who you are, but it was a moment that defined you, again, that no one would know. And it's not the story of your PC case. No, well, we all know that one.
With Stowe, I actually wanted to try it out. But the first time I ever heard of Stowe was like, it was a Game Informer magazine, I think. And I didn't have a PC at the time. Stowe was actually the reason that I wanted a PC for a while. And it was the thing that inspired me to finally like get a PC, build one, a long time ago, and I guess I can credit some of the interest in PCs, to that, because before that I was just a console gamer. Um, the laptop that I had couldn't play a game at all, so Stowe caused me to, or helped push me over towards the hobby that I now have. The desktops, gaming PCs. But that's something people probably wouldn't know, and I guess it's hard to answer that question exactly because I really am having a rough time thinking of good answers. But Stowe was the reason I got a PC. As
Wow.
crazy as that sounds.
Perlicade, that's scary. That's really scary, in a sense. And
What did I want to become when I was a little, Spencer? I was really big into Stargate for a long time and really wanted to go into like something science, like astrophysics, something like that. But I ended up having, like, with things that happened in my childhood, just high school wasn't the best time for me, and I ended up doing the last years of high school online through a different high school in a different city.
So maybe
So,
I'm going to add on to that question, because you helped me a lot actually with tech stuff. So how did you become tech savvy? Like, to me, if I had any type of boomerism moments, you would, and you knew it, and or we were talking about, if I had a question,
yeah.
you would help me. And to me, you come off as you just know your stuff. You have a link ready, you have all this stuff. So how did you just self-taught? Did you go?
Self-taught definitely was an issue that influenced some of my last years in high school there. Um, like I everything I know about computers, or I pretty much taught myself. I did go to um college and go through like a networking program. Um, but a lot of the things I pretty much taught myself just using like YouTube and that. When I was much younger, like I remember going through like Goodwills, getting some old electronics to buy them and take them apart. Um, that's not quite the track I went down, but I've always liked taking things apart and fixing them.
So you just through
Like when I see a
fiddling.
beam overload build, I tell people, let's take that build apart, put some cannons on it, scatter volley, it's fixed.
You just had to go there. You just had to go there.
I saw an opportunity.
We were nowhere near there. We were nowhere near there.
I called deflection.
I mean, thoughts on beam overload? He's going to answer that 100%, but I'm not sure if you want to take a crack at that question that you see there on YouTube. But
Which one? The how many more years do I think STO has out of its current engine?
yeah, it's something I know that we've talked about, but
STO's like,
why not?
they can keep this game going for a very long time. But I think we're already seeing that they're not doing like new systems development. It seems to mostly just be they're pumping ships.
Yeah.
They can keep that going for a very long time.
That's true, and unfortunately, with the falling off of, or sort of crash of, Eagle Moss, they had a lot of ships that they just pulled out of the air that I didn't even know existed. Well, I'm not saying that already existed, but it was so obscure.
Yeah.
They had so many of that, and my thoughts is like, why don't you guys just put all of that in Stowe? And it doesn't have to be like this super next biggest thing. And I know you and I have a different position on any ship that comes out, whether it's good or bad or whatever, but just to have that piece of Star Trek in Stowe, right? Like, to me, I would love to have what's that one ship, the Raven, where that was when Annika was with her parents, right? When she got separated and got assimilated and all that stuff. The USS Raven, I believe that's what it is. But you know, just ships like that or
Yeah.
whatever. It would be really nice to have.
You know what I want? Legendary Mo guy. Giant Dutch Viking asked if we're taking questions now or prefer we wait.
It's up
You
to
can
you.
wait if you want. We've got True
Yeah.
sent me a list of questions. It's just that first question was the one where it's like, oh, I don't know. I'm drawing blanks on what to say for it. You know?
Tell you what. What we'll do is in about 20 minutes. So about before 11 o'clock, we'll ask for any questions. But I'll like I said, I'll keep an eye on chat, trying to make sure that we don't miss any questions here. But we want to move it along here. Okay, so we might have to go visit back. That's something no one knows about, but it just feels like it wasn't as deep enough. But
Wasn't deep enough?
I don't know. It was still store related. It was very store related. Like I thought I was gonna find out this sort of, you know, I like to take nature walks. I don't know. Sorry. I don't know.
Outside scary. What the hell type of question is that? Nature walks? Get out of here. I'm a fat guy from Iowa. I'm not walking through the cornfield.
It was just an example. That's all it was. It was just an example. But anyway, we can revisit that. Maybe I'll try to pull that. So
Yeah. I'll try to think of an answer for it eventually.
So I know you started off with Stowe, but this question, of course, you know what it is. What got you into Star Trek?
So I think it was just watching the Sci-Fi Channel a ton when I was younger, and I forget which Star Trek series was on at the time. I as much as some are not going to like it, I think it was Enterprise. Just watching Star Trek Enterprise, seeing, oh yeah, this looks interesting, because you know there wasn't a ton of high quality, like actual spaceship stuff out there. And then just diving in from there. I remember going through and watching Voyager on YouTube, where people would like post a fifth of an episode, and then you just had to keep going through and like finding the next part. I remember that's how I watched Voyager the first time I watched it. Yeah, I have never watched TOS though. It's too boomerish for me. It's perfect for you.
Whoa. I've made it very clear that I also was not into TOS, and it has its moments, and I can watch it in clips, but the overall, and it again could just be visually as well for me. It just doesn't. It has good moments. It has good clips that you can watch. Obviously, seeing the original cast, the moments, and I think one of the ones I watched lately was the Balance of Terror. Bunch of clips that they took inspiration from to make the last episode of Strange New Worlds. I thought it was really done well. So yeah, again, I'm not the best at it, but for the most part, you know.
Back to the question for me, like, it was definitely just watching random episodes that popped up on the Sci-Fi Channel, and then with Voyager, I'm from Eastern Iowa. Kate Mulgrew, who played Janeway, is from the same place that I was from, so every time I'd go up to Dubuque, you know, there's this big building that says Mulgrew Oil on it, and it's like, you know, I liked what I saw of Enterprise. I'll go through watch Voyager, and after Voyager, I think I went through and watched TNG, and then a while later I ended up watching DS9. Oh yeah, TOS, never watched it. I've watched all the newer Trek, of course, but the best new Trek show was the Orville. I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
It's true. The Orville is like the Orville has a bunch of people involved with it from the TNG days and stuff like that. So it is closer to your TNG style Trek than the newer shows that are actually Star Trek.
Right.
And season 3 of the Orville is amazing. You got to watch it, Tris.
I mean, I did start watching it when it did come out because, if not mistaken, it came out at the same time around Discovery. but I watched 3 episodes of it, and yes, there was definitely Star Trek vibes, but it wasn't Star Trek. Yes, you had influences there. Yes, you had, you know, people working on it from the TNG, but it just was not Star Trek. I will say that there was that one time in Star Trek Online, not in Bandcamp, that I took the Vorgon escort. That was the closest thing I can kind of make out. If you squint really hard, it looked like the Orville. And I just did like a turret build, but I think when it comes to the Orville, that style should have been what Discovery was, in my opinion, and how they started.
Season 3 of Orville, season 1 and 2, maybe I could, see them not being quite as Trek feeling, but season 3 definitely has been.
Yeah, and I will be doing a lot of binge watching personally myself, and you obviously know what I did lean into recently, and that was Strange New Worlds. I think that was absolutely, I can't, for something that I really put myself into, lean into, cover things that I would never cover, the expectation, thinking that it was going to, and before it released, it met that expectation and exceeded it, of the new Trek, especially coming from Discovery. But so I'm then gonna go into the next one here. So what is your favorite series then? Like favorite Star Trek series, like favorites that will literally.
TNG has its moments. DS9 is, I felt, for me personally, I was liking it a little bit more than TNG, but that's because the plot lines were, that they had the storyline much more connected throughout the seasons, which I liked. Voyager is okay, but it had points I just really wasn't a fan of. So DS9 is probably what I got to say.
Really?
Right. Yeah, DS9 I can go forward. I mean, TNG is, very close. But DS9, I like that there's a long-term plot line, and, that it was progressed throughout, all the seasons.
There's no wrong answer, in my opinion. Okay, so series being DS9 your favorite, what then is your favorite ship?
I like the Sovereign.
Mm-hmm.
The Sovereign is actually the only 3D printed ship that I got from the company that Cryptic has doing the 3D printed ships. The quality was absolutely terrible, of course, so I didn't order another 3D print from them. But I very much, the Sovereign was always a ship that I really liked, and it makes me sad that there's not a good Sovereign in STO. The only ones we have they have a Lieutenant Commander spec seat and then the Miracle Worker version, which my thoughts on Miracle Worker.
You just had to go there, didn't you? You just had to go
Take any opportunity I've got.
Always had. There is a command version of the Sovereign, you know that.
I'm aware, but the rest of the bridge officer seating on it blows.
Fair enough. Okay, so favorite captain.
It's hard. Picard is just the clear winner for most people. I mean, I do like Cisco's craziness at points, but Picard I think is just the standout winner. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So Picard. How about number 1?
Favorite number 1?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's got to be Riker.
Okay. Well, I mean, favorite first officer, not number 1. Riker?
Well, yeah. I mean, Riker, dude.
Okay. All right. Engineer. Okay, not Star Trek Online engineer. I'm talking about the engineer on the shows. Just calm down, sir. I saw that in your face.
O'Brien.
Really?
Yeah, I'd go
I
for
didn't expect that.
definitely O'Brien. I mean, LaForge is also good, but both
O'Brien.
have their points. Both are good.
Okay. Tactical officer.
Tactical officer.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know on that one.
Tactical
I don't
officer.
remember who was like the exact what?
Tactical officer. The Worf was tactical.
Worf. I mean,
There's also when.
yeah, Worf would be the ideal answer between TNG and DS9.
Mhm.
The two series that I like the most, and he's in there in both. Yeah.
Okay. So helmsman, pilot, whatever you want to
I
call it.
know. I know. You know, I think the troll answer is Wesley.
No, but is that your favorite? Is that who you connect to? I want to know.
I don't think I really have like a favorite, to be honest with you. That's not one I've really thought of much.
Really? Strange New Worlds has changed that for me. Okay. So how about medical?
I'm having um the doctor, you know, of course, would be yeah, I think the doctor.
Voyager?
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course, the actor, you know, he also played Richard Woolsey in a show that I very much like.
How about your favorite villain?
Favorite villain. I don't want to just like go out and say like a
Well, who you
standard
connect
one.
to? Who do you?
I'm thinking Shinzon.
Okay.
You know, I like the scimitar.
You do?
He introduced the scimitar. How can I not like that?
That's why I'm surprised that you said the sovereign. Not that I don't know that. I know you've said that many times, but I thought you were gonna go scimitar when I asked you that question.
Yeah, it's
Close second.
It's favorite villain. You know, Tom Hardy there introduced the scimitar, right?
And what moment did it for you in Star Trek that it just resonates with you that way? Either sort of a surprise moment, sad moment, happy moment that really just resonates. And I'll give you an example for me. And I've said this many times. The Survivor, that episode where that alien killed the Husnook. That just for some reason I cannot. That's in my head.
It really resonated with me whenever we were listening to the Cardassians talking about how they were treating the Bajorans. You know,
Ooh.
I'm all for just Nuke and Bajor.
Wow. Sir, of course you would be. Look at that smile on him. You can tell. See, that's what we want. That is what we want to know. The moments that make him smile.
Time to just nuke Bajor. Get rid of it.
I gotta be that way, sir. Okay. So now we're going to move into, now that we know how you kind of got into Star Trek. A little, you've already talked about Stowe a little bit, but content creation. When did you start doing your own, starting, I guess, YouTube or whatever form it may be?
Initially, I think my first video, it's unlisted and not on my primary account, is from, I want to say, late 2012 or early 2013. And it was me recording a PvP match because the person on the other side didn't understand how I was doing what I was doing and just wanted to see my point of view. And then I just started recording like PvP matches. When I would do some DPS runs, I would record, and then things just evolved from there. I was like, there's a big opening, to go through and explain some DPS stuff or showcase some DPS runs, things like that back then, and decided to go for it. You gotta think back then, when you're talking about the people that were doing like min-max type videos, Ryan STO, Sarcasm, I think, may have had some stuff out around that time.
Ryan STO, yep.
there was not a ton of people. And doing the runs, like I really like doing the solo ISEs back
Mhm.
then. Um, doing stuff in a team environment is fine, but I've always really liked just seeing how well I could do it solo.
So you were always the elitist, trying to
Yes,
push the numbers, never casual, even though your first
I
name was Star. What was it? What was it again? Star Trekker.
no comment.
Bet you some of you caps don't know that.
It's
Trying.
my Reddit name. If anyone has interacted with me on Reddit, they know.
He thought it was like the coolest name. Then sorry, what? Oh, we got a raid incoming. Greg, sir, my captain. Wow.
That was not at Greg. That was at
Wow, sir. I said behave. Greg,
am
sir,
behaving.
hello. Kiwi, how's it
Admiral,
going?
if you will come with me.
Supreme Leader, Mr. Guy, welcome. And the casual elitist. Who's that? Me? We know my favorite. How are you, Greg? Hopefully you're streaming well. Thank you so much for the raid. I knew exactly who that was for. I mean, yes. Thank you. As you can see, we have Spencer on the Bridge. Captains is joining us. We are doing our one-on-one with Mr. Spencer in a more formal way. It's not the first time that he's been here on the bridge, but it's a series of sort of one-on-ones that I would love to do. Can you get that out of there? Stop it! Stop it! Stop! Get out! Hopefully you're streaming well. Thank you again, Greg. I appreciate that. And we had a command code verification from a follow captain, a Kilogon. Oh, Kilogon, thank you so much for that welcome, Captain, here on the Twitch bridge.
Captain on the bridge.
But
Yes, we are actually doing this both on the Twitch and YouTube bridge, Captain. So stream did go well. Yes, I heard you talking about me. I do like my paperwork. Sorry, go ahead, Spence.
the YouTube stuff, content creation. I started doing streams I tried on YouTube, on Twitch, and was doing okay with that for a little bit, but streaming, like, streaming can be fun sometimes, but when you're doing something like Stowe, it can be really difficult to do things that can be entertaining to people. Because like if I was doing PvP and we're just sitting in Karat waiting for people, we could just be sitting there for like half an hour just chatting. Yeah, so I don't know, like with my YouTube, I mean, I think you've seen in the past couple of years I changed the direction of the channel a little bit. Back when the show was going on, I definitely stopped doing just the posting of runs by that point, and had started making actual content pieces, posting builds, doing actual content pieces here or there. And then that's evolved over the years, and in the last, well, I'd say since I came back last year, really just ramped that up. Like, just been trying to pump out the content now for the past year or so, really.
Yeah, I do remember.
Trying to actually move the channel along and just see what I can do with it.
And your channel, like going back to what you said of the Stowe content creators when I started, because I started Stowe back in 2014. So around that time, it was you, Sark, Ryan Stowe, Ryan, whatever. Teacher Kirby, Zeph Films, Odin, of course, and you guys had the show. And I will say, the show was one of the things that I looked forward to, and even that we would talk about. I think me and Waldo and some of the STB captains would talk about some of the things that you guys talked about just in chat, because it was coming from sort of the knowledge. So I'm gonna stay on that and ask, so how did the show start, and how did it sort of stop?
I think the reason the show started, and it's been a while, so little bit groggy with all of these specific details, but I think the issue was, there was podcasts being done for Stowe, but the general sense is that they were in a much more casual format, and there's very clearly quite a bit of interest, especially at that time of the game, when we were doing the show. There was a lot of interest in having a bit more of a higher end discussion, some viewpoints on things, because with something like Priority One, you were never going to get that because they were extremely casually focused. Um, it. I think we saw that there was a thing there. Odin wanted to do. I think he was already like looking at doing some like streams or whatever, and um, then we just were like we could get together, have something on a more consistent basis, and it just evolved from there. Um, the show ended because of drama between the people on it.
No.
Obviously, the things with Timberwolf, people are now aware of. But there were other issues, people stealing content from each other. I'm not going to name names, but there was one of the people on the show that would actively have people sitting in voice chats while like myself, Snipey, Sark were testing things, and then that person would then relay the information that we had gone from our testing, forward it to that individual, who would then go out and do a video on that topic with the information from our testing before we had actually had a chance to get that video out ourselves. So there was just some people that just were not the best to work with, and there was some burnout from some people, so it just things just did not persist.
Right.
And I would say too, when it comes to like content creators, the reason I don't interact with as many as are out there is because as a content creator, having had the opportunity to actually interact with people and see how they are, I don't want to interact with most of the STO content creators because Timberwolf was not the only bad apple. I'm gonna leave that for you there, Tris. You know exactly. You're right.
So bad.
Drama stream win.
Maybe there's a common denominator. I'm just saying.
Oh.
You like how I kind of just shifted that back to you, like a serve over the net, like just no. That
Arrow.
I mean, wow, drama. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that's something that you can get away with in the at least year and whatever time I've been. There's already been some, and I will say it actually does affect me, and you know that a lot. And I do understand though, over time, especially with a game, interests change, right?
Yes.
But
example would be Snipey. When I first met Snipey, his interest, was DPS, but he got burnt out on that over time. His interest shifted over towards ERP, and just we went our separate ways.
I did not know about that one, but I feel that
I'm not even kidding. I'm not even kidding.
I don't. Again, I always say do whatever in game that makes you happy, right? I mean, if it's gonna keep you in there, the only thing I could say is just don't sort of force others along with you. I guess I don't know.
Don't invite us to the cave on Reza. I'm a pass. Okay.
I've heard of that. I've not heard of actually the shenanigans that go on in the cave. But what is ERP? I'll let
erotic roleplay.
I thought it was elite. I thought it was elite. Oh, I see now. Okay, all right. if there was an emoji I could play here, it would be like the, the explosion.
Because you are a boomer. You're a very sheltered boomer.
Okay, okay, well, Spencer. Okay, so Spencer does know me, so that is actually, that doesn't surprise him. But so how long did the show last then? So that was
I
20,
don't. I like
a
2 years,
year?
I think.
2 years.
A year or
Okay.
two.
Was
Yeah.
it 2 years? Okay. And I mean, for the, like I said, that was one of the things that I'd love to listen to when I was at work late and was just sort of learning. A lot of the initial Torp stuff that I got into was because of Odin. And I know you were very Fa centric back then. I do remember
the
that
meta.
fun. That was the meta, which actually is before. We're gonna go into that in a little bit, but before that, so there's a little history on the show there, Captain, and that's where I met Spencer, and I think it was Sark that 2016 found the video of when I did the interview with you guys, which again to me that was a huge huge deal for me because I had looked up to all of them at the time.
Giant Dutch Viking. If you look up Odin Knight STO's YouTube channel, it should all still be there. You're gonna see my profile icon is a bunch of torps in the background with the red thing over it saying I was anti-torp. Quite ironic how things have ended up now, isn't it?
I love that. So now, before maybe I'll ask this. No, I'll ask this now. So, your favorite ship in Star Trek Online, that if you had to just pick one ship to say fly for a year, what would it be? And that would be versatile enough, to cover sort of any meta that may come. Oh, the eyebrows went up.
There's two different answers.
Okay, give us two
Either
different answers.
Either one is Romulan Master Race, so either the Legendary Scimitar or the Delkina.
The Legendary Scimitar and the Delkina.
Legendary Scimitar is the new meta, as we'll talk about later. But
Intel? Is it the Intel?
Intel and Command. It's Commander Intel, Lieutenant Commander Command. So it can do Torps, it can do it can do Thaleron. It's the only ship that can do Thaleron.
That's true. That is true.
The Scimitar has always been, ever since it was released, the Scimitar is always one of the best ships in the game. After Delta Rising happened, I think I was still in my tier 5 Scimitar for like actual serious DPS stuff for probably a year or two after that, at least. I think until the Krenim Imperium came out. The Krenim Imperium was the ship that got most of the DPSers out of the T5 Scimitar, because the T5 Scimitar was still better than most of the T6 ships up to that point, especially with cloaking mechanics.
Okay, so they'd be versatile enough to do whatever you think Stowe's meta would be.
Yes, the Legendary Scimitar, absolutely. It's the Legendary Scimitar just straight up is one of the best ships in the game.
Even EPG, Sci-Fu magic, beams.
The Thaleron stuff is all EPG.
The Rose explodes. Thank you. Welcome.
Captain on the bridge.
Okay, I like that. So, this is going to bring us into one of the things that I've been looking forward to talk about with Mr. Spencer here. But before that, Captains, after this sort of questioning, in about 8 minutes, I'd say queue up any of your questions that you have for Mr. Spencer here. And as soon as we sort of get done talk about the quote-unquote meta, we will have Mr. Spencer here answer whatever questions you have for him. Okay, so one of the first ones I wanted to start off with, what were the different metas over the years that you knew of and were a part of?
Fire at Will, obviously. The reason Fire at Will has a 20-second like global or category cooldown is because it was so powerful that they decided to make it the only firing mode that had a 20-second global instead of 15 seconds, which sucks now that they've nerfed beam overload, but beam overload was the thing for the first few years of the game. Then after that, cannon scatter volley. And once cannon scatter volley really people started to get good piloting, it hasn't really changed, to be honest with you. And it really depends on the level of content you're doing right now. Like if you're doing normal or advanced, cannon scatter volley absolutely blows everything else out of the water. It's not even a competition between cannon scatter volley and the other things out there. For normal or advanced. In elite, torpedoes and EPG obviously have their use cases. Torpedoes, the issue with torps is they're a higher skill requirement than any of the other metas we've had. So there's not many people that can really do them well. So most people still prefer the other things like cannon scatter volley, because that's just, can you point your ship in the right direction? Torpedoes are, can you point your ship in the right direction? Can you, make sure you're timing your mines on the right target or whatever? And are you firing the right high yield torp at the time, the right spread torp? That you've seen the manual fire torp stuff.
I tried it, but I think you're forgetting one there before you went to torp, sir.
And the scatter volley.
There's one more you're forgetting. I've told you. I've told you before. That was the first time I hit my 100K. Come on.
So fire
good night, sir.
Feedback pulse, yeah. Okay, feedback pulse.
There you go.
But that was part of fire at will.
That was different. Because I remember using the fire at will, but then feedback pulse, because of that trait, it did its thing, right? Yes, you had to get the aggro, obviously, to get all the attention, but that was still, I felt like, separate, and that was also still paired with the embassy consoles, no? Or was that when they nerfed them? No, they nerfed them after that, I think.
But the thing is, by the time, so I guess during the feedback meta, cannons had already started to technically take over from beams. So there was a little bit of a time period where you saw people doing feedback pulse with a CSV boat.
I never got into that. Mixed in mapping. Fair enough.
Oh, no.
Sorry.
Yeah, I can't believe I forgot the feedback pulse there.
Yeah, and then of course they nerfed. Well, I can't remember what it was that they made. It's sort of like they nerfed it to the ground where it did absolutely nothing.
So reflection abilities used to be able to crit, and they no longer are able to crit, and you can't buff them past a certain point, I think is what it is. So we actually have the same level of feedback pulse as the NPCs currently have. The difference is we do a lot more. We do a lot more damage than NPCs do.
Sure, yeah. I guess because we're hitting them, and obviously, it just feels like. I mean, that'll go back to one of the things that I wanted to ask, but for the most part, where you kind of went there and where we are now, so the torps, right, is kind of where you let off now. So this is leading into my next question, because you've already said it, but I'm going to still ask it. But I also want you to explain both in advanced and elite terms. Okay, so what is the current meta?
That depends on whether, what skill level you're at. I think realistically...
Your skill level, you, Mr. Casual Elitist Spencer.
Technically, right now, Thaleron, has the ISA record. It's over 5 times the top cannon scatter volley record right now. The ISA record is 11 million DPS with Thaleron. And there's very likely to be an ISE run. I was in some runs on Saturday where it was Friday or Saturday, over the weekend, where we tried to do some ISE Thalerons, And like I definitely see that there's potential for it to take the top spot on the ISC table. Um, but the issue with the Thaleron is it's not something that any others are going to be able to just pick up and go and do.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for ISA, it'd be much easier to replicate than the ISC environment. The ISC environment is basically you need 5 specific people in the game or it's not happening. Um, and that was the issue we were running into the other day was we didn't have the people we needed, and we had really good people in there, but we did not have what we needed. So I think Thaleron, technically it is the top of the table right now for ISA at least, and will be for ISE. But I don't really want to necessarily call it meta. I guess. I mean, I know I've said Thaleron meta, but it's something so niche and it's so far above what literally anybody else in the game is going to be able to do that it's not something people should be going out and trying to replicate. It's too high end. So I would say for advanced, cannon scatter volley should probably still be what everyone looks at if you actually want to have high performance in normal or advanced content, and even elite. Cannon scatter volley does well there. Torpedoes, the only thing with torpedoes, they work in any environment of elite, but you need targets that live long for concentrate firepower to really be effective. And if you have targets, just a bunch of small targets that all die really fast, that can get a bit rough. So torps, they're really powerful in the right conditions, but it's getting the right conditions.
Right.
So scatter volley, universally, just really good.
Mm-hmm. My still just blue screen. I do want to stay on that for a little bit because there was a question there that you mentioned something that it's quote unquote above what anyone's are going to do or whatever have you. So I'm just gonna maybe just close that for now. But isn't that considered the meta? Because regardless, it's whatever's going to get you the highest DPS, is it not? And regardless of how you get there, that's still something. Now, you did say also it will be in ISE. It's not yet. Is that correct?
Yes, like the numbers, we did some tests the other day. We just did not have the right team composition in there. And this is why I like it. It is, it is the most effective tactic. So it, in one way, it definitely is going to be the meta option. But the issue with it is you need for ISA or ISE, the people that are taking down the sides need to be basically the best of the best at that specific role. So for ISA, if you want a really good high-end Thaleron run to happen, the 2 people taking out the sides need to be extremely good cannon scatter volley players. For ISE, the people taking out the sides need to be the people that can actually take out a side on their own, and in a reliable time frame of like 10 seconds. And unfortunately, and this is, how long I've been doing these torp runs, there's 3 people in the game that can reliably take a side down that fast.
Does that include the other group?
That's including Game Freaks.
Right.
So that is literally the only. There may be more people, but these are the only people that I have seen with the ability to get the build together, and that actually have the experience of doing runs at that level with torpedo builds, where they understand like manual firing, the positioning, the timing. There's a lot of things you have to do in that 10 seconds, and in the like 18 months I did torp runs, I can reliably only say that there's 3 people that can reliably, consistently do it. Myself, Nick, and Game Freaks.
2 of which are in B team.
B team doesn't exist anymore.
To me, in my heart, it does.
B team, I mean, was already on a dying slope. When did we first talk about like people getting burnt out? Was that March?
There was a little bit rumblings here and there in I'd say around winter. That was still it was starting to,
yeah.
But then it really got after New Year's is when it's sort of you guys were on the down, and then I don't think we heard about Game Freaks until just like 2 months ago or something, really. Well,
Game
okay,
Freaks
sorry.
has been around for over a year.
I don't mean haven't heard of him, but in terms of how him getting his group together, doing the run, and then boom, you know.
His team, from what I understand, is also falling apart.
And it speaks to the whole C team when it speaks to the whole thing of just getting burnt out, period, right? You can only do so many things over and over again, you know. But
it's a limited group of people that you can get that are actually at that skill level, have the capability to get that build together, have the availability for those types of runs. It's just it's really hard to get people for that environment that meet all of the things that you would want for someone in that environment. And yeah, it's rough.
Okay, so we are at 11:05, and we did say that we were going to have captains ask questions and all that stuff. So I'm not sure if you've been keeping up with chat. I have both Twitch and YouTube here going on. Did you have any that you wanted to answer? I saw a couple
what are
things.
The top 5 meta traits? That's entirely dependent on the build.
Okay, then spit them out for Torp, Overload, Scatter Volley, EPG. What? You should know this. This is you.
There's literally, I would refer you to the tier list on STO Better, because they have tier list over there for each little build type, and they tell you what the S tier traits are, the A tier, B tier. They give you a list of options. I would highly recommend checking out STO Better.
Cop out. What? Just kidding. I don't know. I'm just kidding. I thought you were gonna spit him out like that, to be honest with you.
It's so build dependent, like.
Yeah, so I was thinking, okay, let's stick with one. I'm gonna ask you 2. Torps. What would you use for torps?
So subspatial warheads, of course. Rapid emitting armaments, universal designs, tearing goodbye, the ruin of our enemies. What did we do for the last one? I don't even remember.
Overpowered overgun? Was that one of them? No.
No, not for torps.
Oh, sorry. I'm missing.
What is the last one that I have on? I feel like I'm missing something. ETM, Entwined Tactical Matrices.
There you go. Okay, so that's for torps. Now this is going to be new to me. What is, because of the meta we're talking about right now, what is the scimitar running in traits?
I literally think that half the traits on the scimitar build are just slotted because he wanted to fill the slots.
Okay, what are the important ones then for a scimitar?
Let me pull the build up.
We're gonna have him answer this, captains, here for us, because I'm actually curious. I have not stepped into the whole, nor I don't think I'll ever, to the Phaleron meta. I'll wait.
Which is in this channel. Okay, so she's a predator. Simulated conduits.
Um,
Checkmate.
Yeah.
That's like, I think it's like exotic amplification. And then there's the brace for impact trait, the one where you hit brace for impact and you get damage boost.
Damage buff, yep.
Yeah.
That was a free one, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That's a free one too. Wow.
The thing with the Thaleron runs is most of the requirement is on the team. Now the person doing the Thaleron still has to time things correctly and buff it up right. And I think most people would still mess that up. Especially like with the scimitar build, you're sitting in the obfuscation screen console from the walker for 20 seconds before you even hit the Thaleron, because that gives you 120% cat 2 for every second that you're in the console. So when you come out of it, you've got that for 20 seconds, and then you can hit all your buffs, and then you can hit the Thaleron.
Interesting. Okay. I think that was Blood who asked that. Thanks, Blood. What else did you see there, Spence?
I answered the Torps being viable outside Borg TFOs. The Torps can definitely be viable in multiple situations. It's just you need targets that are alive a long time. That's really the thing. Waldo asked if burnout is because of the map. I think, I mean, doing the same map sure can get a little bit tedious, but the really frustrating thing when you get to that level of play is the server performance. The STO servers cannot handle 5 people at that level that are all hitting a ton of abilities at the same time. The servers cannot handle it. I could only imagine like trying to do some of these runs if we had like 10-man teams in the map. It would be brutal. I don't know how they're doing it in PvP right now, because if we're having this many issues in a 5-player environment and an infected, I don't want to know how PvP is right now.
Oh wow, look at that.
Giant Dutch Viking says, or asks, do I feel I'm stuck in a role where you wish you could step back a bit and focus more on my channel, other games? I mean, with the DPS stuff, sure. Like, I have no issue running the DPS channels and all that, but sometimes, when I have to deal with some random BS, it's like I just want to play the game like everyone else. I don't want to have to sit here and deal with this guy being just a dick or whatever, The STO builds Discord, I don't have any issues with that. I have how many mods that I brought in over there, other admins, so I can just offload things to them.
Good question. I like that.
Yeah, but I've definitely had points where I think I even said to Nick, I had a conversation with him a couple months ago when, like, around the time we were like really we knew that the runs with like B team were going to come to an end. It was like I was already at that point starting to play other games a fair bit more than Stowe.
Poor ships.
And it was like I don't really want to have to continue dealing with some of these things, but with the DPS channels, it's not really that much to deal with.
Right.
What else do you see here, Triz?
The sound pack energy rebounder sounds like a ground-based beam overload. Are you super hyped? That's a good one. I like that. That's a good one. There's your answer. Also, Bossy Goose, hello sir, welcome. How are you doing?
Captain on the bridge.
So, given the current STO dev team and their available bandwidth, if you were in charge for the next, say, 12 months, what would you do to shake up the game? Ooh, the loaded one.
Hire people.
Okay, but logistically, if you think about that, it's not just as easy as hiring people. Okay,
what would I do to shake up the game? I say this as somebody that has opened a substantial amount of lockboxes. The lockboxes in the current state need to go. If they want to, the way that I think they should do it is every time that they're coming out with a new lockbox or a new lockbox ship, new promo or whatever, sell it directly in the store. Like, if say, what was the last lockbox? The Emerald Chain?
Em-
What was the Emerald Chain, right? That was the last one.
I thought Cheval. Oh wait, no, Cheval was R&D.
Cheval's promo. I'm saying the last actual lockbox. I think it was the Emerald Chain.
Oh, okay, it might have been.
But let's just go with this as the example. Let's say, instead of releasing the Emerald Chain stuff as a lockbox, put all of the contents of that lockbox, you know, all the traits, whatever, the ship, put it in a big pack right in the C store for like $100. You get everything.
Cerritos?
Cerritos was direct to Infinity. I mean, like full on individual lockbox that's not Infinity. Like, you know, like how the Emerald Chain was its own lockbox.
Sorry, I stopped you. Go ahead with your taking out of putting everything. Sorry, traits and everything. You're talking about that.
But just put all of the contents of the lockbox. Just have it in a pack in the C store, and then every, you know, just like 4 times a year come out with a new pack instead of doing the lockboxes where you just charge like $100 for it. You know, where you spend $100, you get the Emerald Chain unlocked account wide and all the other crap from the box. You know, all the traits, some of the weapons. You know,
all
of the new actual content. I would rather have that than the current system, because this current system with the lock boxes in the current state is just really not good.
But you wouldn't be able to gamble.
Waldo asked, how do I think they should fix the Dill exchange? Another fleet holding would be nice, but there's things that they can add as buyouts for dilithium. The Endeavor perk points. I think that's something they were talking about maybe expanding that system, and when I heard that, I'm thinking they're out of their damn minds. It's already like the difference between a new account and an existing account. It takes you what, 2 or 3 years to get caught up as is if you're starting today, and if they're talking about expanding it, you know, will the game be around by the time, you know, a new account starting up today would have the opportunity with the current implementation to actually finish the endeavors?
I mean, I think I'm at maybe over 100 on my PS4 account, and that's not doing them daily, so it could be higher. But that gap though is 600, right? Is the highest.
Yeah, and that's, you know, that's why competitive things in this game also can't really work from a balance standpoint, because you just with this implementation of the Endeavor system, a new account is lacking 10% crit D, all the severity, all the other stuff that, you know, all of our accounts would have.
Are you maxed out on Pandevers?
No, I'm at 388, and I've been grinding it since I started playing again, like
mid last year.
Early last year, yeah.
Early last year.
But new fleet holding allow us to buy out Endeavors with the with dilithium or something like that. What else? They keep adding this crap, like they're coming out with that elite bridge officer token, and they're gonna just dump it right in the C store. Just put that in the dilithium store.
Yeah.
Like that there's some things where it would just it wouldn't be that huge, but imagine if you had to spend like 100,000 dilithium and you could convert one of your bridge officers to, or like make them elite or whatever. You know, there's many different things that I think they could do for the dilithium.
Right, yeah, Emerald Chain was the last lockbox. I mean, the fleet holding, they've already said the
They're not
time
gonna
and
do.
resource they're not going to do. It's time and resources. Just like a
What
battle zone. Nope.
what I hate is, aren't they at like basically the same team size they were for Victory's Life?
That's what you told me, yeah.
I mean, I don't know for 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure they've made like statements that the team is fairly well staffed right now, and I think comparable to what it was back then.
Well
I could be
staffed.
wrong there, but um, you look back at the amount of content we got with this game 4 or 5 years ago compared to now, and it's brutal.
I
How many story missions have we gone this year?
or whatever that new
I
arc
haven't
is.
played the last two, so I don't know. That's not why I play the game. I'm not here for the story content. I'm here because I like the flying the ships around, the mechanics.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Until the server lags out, and then I get really pissed off.
The very casual pissed off. I mean, it's either, I think, was it you that gave that idea? I can't remember who gave the idea out of keep pumping out story missions, and it doesn't have to be voice, because I think that's what the issue, not issue, that's what they're doing, right? They're waiting until they nail down a voice actor.
Yeah.
And then basing the next content off of how much they got that voiceover for. Like Janeway, right? Janeway was Janeway, Tilly. Who was in that last one? Janeway, Tilly, Noah, Camarque, or whatever. Just they're putting it in such a focus, point, and you can only do so much with them, right? Now they did the revamp the tutorial, they did, obviously a bunch of other things too, the TFOs, but you're right. It feels like the one memory that I have in Stowe that was probably one of the highest points for me was the Iconian arc. Definitely the Iconian arc.
I don't know how to feel about your YouTube chat right now. There's some weird things going on over there.
Oh. Yeah, go
Giant
ahead,
Dutch Viking. What do I think of my own channel? Is my sub count where I was expecting it to be? Obviously, when I put out content, I want to do things that are going to grow the channel, and things that are going to be, well received long term. That's what sucks with doing like the news videos for Stowe, and there was a little bit of a time period about a month or two back where it was just a lot of news videos for me because just a little bit of burnout. But the issue with doing content like that is it's so short term, and it's not something someone can go watch 6 months later and have it be relevant. It's relevant for a weekend. So I want the content on my channel, I want it to be things that people can learn from long term. It's just also finding a balance, like those really long build guides or things like that, or some of the videos, the big PowerPoint ones, the build guides, they suck. They suck to make, but they do well. But it's a lot of work for not much return. But that's just the nature of doing Stowe content.
It's already like a niche of a niche of a niche.
Yeah.
I choose to do it because it actually makes me excited. I never used to do it, nor I never pay attention, but for me, the content, the news stuff, has been a way to kind of gauge the interest level. I think you and I and Stud were in a voice chat. Like all of our channels were at a peak view, like by thousands. Stormfall, before Stormfall, at Stormfall, and a lot. And we were all covering all the stuff, and I've always watched, like I said, different YouTube channels for different perspectives. Right? I want to see what you think of something. Well, I kind of know what you think of something. but you know, there's always this hope that you'll say it's the next big thing, you know, or whatever. But okay, let's see here. Stop it. Stygian with the host, thank you so much for that host. I appreciate that.
Captain on the bridge.
Welcome. Just for those captains who are just joining us, what we're doing here is we do have a one-on-one here with CASUALSAB aka Spencer, a good friend of mine that I've known since 2016. And the reason for the one-on-one is, you know, he was kind of one of my first supporters here on the bridge, but also I wanted to, we do a lot of this talk, sometimes just off stream. It's just, I'm learning actually things right now, which this is one of the reasons why I wanted to get this out there.
We had a bit of a rough start. That first question, I still don't have an answer for.
That's your fault, sir.
I don't have an answer for it. You want me to tell people something they don't know about me? What, like, I think beam overload's bad? Like, I've been very transparent. You listen to my streams, I'll tell you. Beam overload sucks.
You might want to ask someone how they managed to have Twitch chat visible and YouTube chat visible and Twitch chat. That's probably me. I can probably do like, yeah, I can probably do an overlay. Sorry, I guess I could do it.
Well, Restream has a way to like make the chat go between.
Yeah, best BO build.
Giant Dutch Viking says, can we turn that around? If numbers and stats don't matter, what would you like to make for types of videos? Oof. I like doing the build videos, but the issue is the amount of time for them. With the format that I started to go for, that's why you haven't seen me really do a build video in a while, because they just sucked to make. And it's, you know, like if I look back at the Torp guide, let me pull up the stats on it too. Like, with YouTube, like you can get some money off stuff for sure, but like you're not doing the YouTube stuff for money. But it's still, when you look at something like that, for me, that Torp video was like 10 hours at least that I spent making it. And I mean, it's at like $58 revenue, but you don't you know, for the time investment.
Yeah.
What?
You don't see that right away.
No, like that's over a year basically, that it's made about that much. The mouse video that I did last year, where fixing the Modelo wireless squeaky mouse, that pretty much blew all of my stove videos out of the water for how much that video actually made.
But you know, if you niche down on that, you would have a did you get, I'm gonna tail a question on that. Did you get subscribers from that mouse vid?
Let me check.
And the reason why it kind of goes off from what my buddy was talking to me and him with his YouTube channel, but it's niching down on a thing, right? And I kind of wonder if you would have either included that in your content and or kind of schedule a once a week, once every 2 weeks thing for some tech thing like that. I think you would do good, because that goes back to one of the things that I said earlier, is you are a tech savvy person, and I think you would.
That is actually something I'm currently working on. I have a keyboard coming in. I'm waiting for it. It left Beijing on Thursday.
See, there you go. I don't know.
33 subscribers.
That's pretty good. I mean, I guess, you know, I mean, I can't compare my channel to yours, but you know, whenever I see someone subscribe to me on YouTube, they subscribe for you for that reason and why you did it at that moment. You know what I mean? And they would like to keep seeing that type of content. And I don't know, for me, you know, just quickly kind of a side story, because I had a buddy of mine who kept doing sort of podcasts, would get like 10, like, just him talking about subjects and stuff like that. He did one video and he had like 50 subscribers for 2 years. He was kind of grinding up to 54 subscribers for 2 years with that type of content. He did a video on what do you call those, drones? Shot him up to 250 subscribers, maybe even 300 now, with 12,000 views. Actually, maybe pushing 20,000 views. I guess the point there is, again, like, going back to sort of one of the things asked earlier with your channel. I mean, I think you can do so much, and then you did the GIMP thing, right? You did that.
Yeah.
I think you're very good at. For me, I don't think you necessarily have to do the PowerPoint stuff, in my personal opinion, because a lot of people can get away without that, and I think you can.
Yeah, I did plenty of build videos the classic way, where I'm just talking through the build, and that's what I did when I did that D7 on the stream a couple weeks back, but I was not satisfied with the build, so I nuked the stream. I've made it unlisted because I was not happy with it and didn't want that to be something that people would go out and follow. Exactly, because it had no survive build. That was the issue. And it was beam overload, so it had no damage. But content wise, I've thought about part of the reason I dug this keyboard out that I was showing you earlier. It's not what I currently use, but like I bought this like right around, oh, I gotta.
It's being redacted. It's redacted in live.
Yeah. But I like the 1800 layout keyboards, where it's like a compact full size. But oh no, I've thought about doing a video for like doing like a 2-year review for this or something, because I did use it for a while, but it just, compared to the other things out there, it's not worth $200.
I mean, I would highly encourage you to do that, but that's me. I've always been. Anytime you guys make stuff, I listen to it in the background and such. So,
how to write a script for keybinds? I've thought about that. I had someone message me after they nuked some of the gen send commands about some QMK commands to like move mouse, or where you could hit the button, it'll move your mouse to X location on your screen, and then click the left mouse button. So I have thought about something like that, and I've got a macro pad that I ordered, but that's not going to be here till November.
Oof. Dang.
But I do have, actually, I technically could on my numpad, because this does support QMK. I could like reprogram one of the top keys to do that type of functionality, where it's just move mouse to X location and click the button.
I actually do like it. Waldo, his PowerPoint guys are great. I do like them, but like when he told me how long it took him to make these things, it blew my mind. Like if I'd worked on one video that took me more than an hour, it would have been the Strange New Worlds ones because of the way I did it. But I enjoyed every moment of it, and I guess, and I've had conversations with McStud and you as well with this as well, Spencer. Like I guess at this point, when it comes to the YouTube, for me, it's more of a passion to share love, right? Like whatever that may be.
Sorry to interrupt, but Giant Dutch Viking, that last part of that's going to be a hard no, buddy. See what he keeps bringing up the sea shanties. I have thought about doing some shorts. I don't use TikTok though. I don't really use Facebook. The only social media platforms that I engage with are YouTube, which I guess you could consider as one pretty much nowadays. Twitter. And most of my Twitter stuff is lurking and just watching some Twitter lists that I follow for tech stuff and like global affairs. and then Reddit. But I don't use Facebook. I don't have Instagram, TikTok. I don't have Facebook or any Meta apps on my phone because I don't want them just having the camera and mic on all the time listening to me. Bunch of creepy people there.
Here's the thing: a lot of content though is just, especially like I've noticed. There's this one channel I'll mention. He covers game news, sometimes tech stuff. Even goes into so much doing crypto coming into games. But it's a very new style, and he's very like monotone, I find. But he's got like 1.2 million subscribers. Young Ye on YouTube. And the reason I bring that up is when I see his videos, he's got like you'll have yourself there on the corner of the screen, right? And then he'll have like a Twitter feed. Literally, they're just going out talking about the news. And again, going back to the tech stuff that you follow on Twitter, I don't know. I maybe encourage you to try to dip your feet there in something that you believe in and that you would endorse, and see how that does for you. No need to do PowerPoints for it. I find that, again, his videos are literally the work that he puts in it, thumbnail, no script, press record, go through a Twitter feed, done. Just saying.
I know it's not just Meta. I've got a Kindle here next to me. It's not been plugged in for a while, but I'm pretty sure these bastards are listening to me somehow through it.
Captain
through everything.
Claude Dab. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for that follow. Appreciate that. If you guys are connected to Vice, Dr. Nickett, how you doing?
Captain on the bridge.
World we live in, yeah.
How's development of Oscar coming along?
Oh,
so
I forgot about that.
Development paused for a little bit while Ranger's on vacation. If you are in the builds Discord and in the development sections, you can see that they've been working on the UI a lot recently. I don't know if they have gotten the real-time parser figured out yet. But yeah,
soon.
Yeah, I'm still gonna do Stowe videos, but it is a little bit, I've definitely been feeling that burnout with Stowe, especially given, like, even if I wanted to do the high-end runs, I tried Thaler on runs yesterday, and the server performance, like, there's no, big event going on right now, but the servers, like, we're dealing with misfires. I'm hitting my concentrate firepower on a target right in front of me. It's the first thing on my tray. I'm manually clicking it, actually, in that case, and it's not activating. Like, the STO servers, like, they've always been frustrating, but trying to do that high-end stuff, even when I was doing the solo ISCs, I would have issues with the server. And I've got pretty good internet. I got a gig plan through my ISP. The hardware on my end is all good. It's on Cryptic's side. That's why I've always said I wish that there was a modern version of the private of a server out there.
Oof.
for Stowe. And that the only one out there wasn't the one from like the pre-Dyson Sphere.
Oof. I would love, as soon as the Sagan class comes into Stowe, stop it right there. Well, I wouldn't mind having that current version of whatever Stowe would be. I know you and I have talked about that. Yeah, I know you would 100% buy or get the Stowe on your own private server and just.
I have enough computer hardware here that I could easily run something that has more horsepower to handle an ISC map than whatever the hell Cryptic is using.
Jeez. No, Merc. No, we're not suggesting that. No.
There's something else I saw that I was going to address. Where is it?
I missed
it. I missed what I was going to say.
Missed the Foundry.
Oh, I was going to say too, and we talked about this earlier, about what would I change with STO. If I had the opportunity, I would actually introduce endgame content, because we don't really have any right now. You know, there's no big raid. There's no the only hard content, you know, we have for Stowe is the Battle of Corfez, and people soloed that
It.
5 years ago.
That's true.
Like,
Wow. Sorry,
it's
I just soloed it like last year or this year, I should say.
you soloed a Corfez?
Oh, sorry, ISC. Not Corfez. No, I'm nowhere near that level of skill like you, sir. Night, Kiwi. Have a good one. Thank you for stopping by, sir.
Hey, Mr. 1.8. The Foundry's never returning. They don't have the people internally that understand the systems. Also, drinking coffee at 1 a.m. Very smart of me.
Good. Thomas, how's it going?
Captain on the bridge.
Okay, that's not from Twitch. I was wondering if it's worth to bring up the point that recently Lord of the Rings Online promised their fan base modernization of the game. This was due to the show coming out, Rings of Power. Do you think Stowe would get any inventory promises along the same lines? Wow. Never heard of that, but
I think that the graphics on the newer maps show that the current engine can still, they can make the game look pretty good with the current engine. Like for an MMO, you have to, you know, MMOs are never going to fully look like the top of the line games. Just the nature of how they are. The way the game looks is always going to be, for lack of a better word, like dumbed down so that people with weaker systems can still, you know, handle it. And for STO, I know people always ask too about just changing the engine, but that'll never happen.
no.
They're not gonna. With how STO is on a custom engine that Cryptic made like 2 decades ago. Well, not quite 2 decades ago, but probably like 15 years ago, and it is they're not changing the engine from what it currently is because it's their, you know, that's what their company is based on, is their engine. They're not going to change it. They're limited to it. That's something that's probably going to limit Cryptic's potential long term until they
In-house engines.
Start working on something new. But they'll never be able to convert STO over to a new engine. It would literally just have to be a new game.
Which they said would be financial suicide. Yeah, they literally said it would be financial suicide, and anything that you had here in Stowe you wouldn't be able to transfer over there for free. That's the key, for free. Right, so I think we can safely move on. Well, you can keep plugging your questions, Captain. There,
Well, what's your next question?
We're not in a rush here, but
what would one need to get into the meta? I guess we didn't hit that one.
No, but before we get into that one, this one I popped up just before we answered the questions. So you said, again, going back to the Thaleron, a lot of people cannot go to that level, right? Just because of organized team, whatever, right? What would be considered the step level down, the next tier that someone can aim for in a sort of, whether it's going through the DPS channels or solo play, what could they do meta-wise that would help them? I know you said scatter volley, but you can kind of expand on that a little bit more on sort of situational step down.
You pop your event campaign reward as a VOD War Juggernaut. You slap 5 dual heavy cannons on it forward and 2 turrets aft plus an Omni Beam. You put cannon scatter volley on it, big storm and synergy, and arrow sensor bands, merge powered weapons 3, merge powered engines 1. Triss is really disappointed. I see he disappeared there. But yeah, you get the VOD War Juggernaut. You put cannon scatter volley on it. Good game. You've won the game.
GG. Get the traits and all that stuff. It is just GG. Trade up.
I mean, what you need?
I tried.
Withering Barrage. You know, that's a free trait if you make a Klingon recruit.
Emergency weapon cycle.
Emergency weapon cycle. Then anything else you can get on top of that, bonus.
The two would be it. Righteousness.
Robotrick. If
Um,
you, I would not know about this, but if you just were to Google, uh, the private server after a certain name of a game, there'd be something on Rage Zone that would probably have the information you're looking for. I wouldn't know though. I would not know.
Personally, would not.
Hopefully that answers your question.
Of course not. Okay, now I will ask that question. So, what would one need to get into the meta then? Of
A team.
I know it sounds very easy, but what is that? Okay, break down for us what that team means. So it's like a team 1 hour a night, because I know that's not that's not it.
I'm gonna just be blunt about it. Like, if you can't get involved with the people that are already doing runs at that level, you're not going to get run. Like, I actually typed this on Reddit yesterday. Someone was asking about what are the best tort boats, because I'd made a post a year ago, and obviously things have changed since then, and someone was asking about an updated version of that. And the answer is like the Courage, the Vessel. Those are really good ships. They were good, a year ago. Well, the Tooth wasn't out then, but the Courage was good a year ago. But the issue is, right now, the Courage, the Tooth, they're only really good if you are doing really high-end runs with a group that can do really fast runs. The Courage is what Game Freaks used for the 3.2 million ISE that they did.
Oh, really?
The Tooth is what I used for my 2.7. Hans used a 6 in his 2.7, and that was a left-right. Like,
impressive.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always going to be, I think, multiple ways. I mean, again, what is I think there's almost multiple ways to kind of say meta, because there's like meta, there's end game, there's but even that is subjective. What is your meta? Because what your meta, Spencer, is going to be different from what my meta would be, I would think, because it's something that I know you guys spend hours, and that could just be because of course, the server performance. But I know you guys don't spend just 1 hour a night to chase those numbers.
The issue is ultimately, if you're doing ISC and you're looking to set a top of the table record, ISC, ISA, HSC, any of the current tables that are used by either DPS league, they're team-based maps. So if you don't have a team with you that is controlling things, debuffing things, you're just not going to get a good result. And that's why you don't see much competition at the higher end of the table, because there's been 3-4 teams in the last 2 years that get anywhere near that level. Fanatics, B Team, Game Freaks, and
thank you.
Hansa Houston's group.
Mm-hmm. I see. I think what my definition of DPS competition is, if you remember. Right, 5 random people not coordinating, but going in there, seeing who's going to have the #1 DPS. That means, though, not having a tank, purposefully not having a tank or any control, but just going in there and seeing who's going to come out on top. To me, in my mind, that kind of, to me, is the competition that anyone can get into in a DPS channel environment, right? Not organized, because if it's organized, you're going to have someone here, have a tank here, and have control. To me, if it's really about getting the top numbers randomly, I think that would be the way to go, in my opinion.
I'm not a fan of the competitive runs.
But do you get my thinking behind that, though? I
get the idea with it.
Yeah.
And I think the issue is that there's still too much randomness in competitive runs, and you factor in like the agony console now. It's a matter of who hit the agony console first at the start.
Mm-hmm.
I think for people that are looking to compete at an individual level, that's where Oscar, we're looking to include solo tables, maybe some patrols, things that any random player can go and actually do and see how they stack up compared to other people. Um, but the issue is at the end of the day is ISE, ISA, HSE, they're team maps, and the team is going to influence it regardless. Like, people have been complaining about the Thaleron runs ever since the first one happened for ISA a couple weeks ago. And at the end of the day, it's a team environment. A team pulled that result together. And I don't want to sound like a dick about it too, but I also, when it comes to like a run like that, what does it matter to most people? Either you have a team and can compete at the top of the table, or it doesn't matter. Like, what is the difference if you're somebody at like 400K and the record is 2 million or 10 million? Like, either way, you're not competing at the top. Like, it sucks if you don't have a team, but it is a team game. Those are team maps. A team is able to really coordinate, work together, and pull a result together. And if you don't have a team, you were never going to get anywhere near the top anyways.
And that's where I get that, and I don't necessarily think it's and that's why I kind of laugh when you or anyone else sort of makes fun of, well, I don't say make fun of, like say when a trait comes out, like with the Sagan, you kind of did mention to me, of course, testing has to be done on that trait that comes off of it with the whole reverberant, whatever it is.
I don't think it's a bad trait. It's too expensive for what it is. If it was a C-store trait, I'd recommend it. Even though feedback pull sucks, it'd be good enough that people could use it.
But that's what I mean, right? Like, what are we talking about here? Like what you're saying. Are we talking about people liking a ship because they are doing the team runs, or they're liking a ship because it's just good enough for what they do with 400, 500, 700, whatever that may be? It's always going to be subjective, and I think everyone's going to have an opinion. Obviously, mine is just, you know this, I don't care what ship I fly. I really don't. If it looks pretty enough and for the advanced stuff that we do nightly, it's fine for me. I can pull out a ship that is a tier 5 and put 2 weapon slots on it. Like, I couldn't care less. See, look at his face. I can see the disappointment already. It's right there. You just can't let me. Why can't you let me have my fun? You were just saying, if you don't have a team, what's the point? So I don't have a team, so what's the point, sir? Now, mind you, I've always been super thankful for the run that you guys have done for me at the time when you guys were doing that. So, not to say that I have not experienced it. And yeah, thank you, Dutch, for that. I appreciate that little message there. But this is why wow.
Sorry.
No, you're not sorry. You're not sorry.
I want, before you go too far. Actually, say what you're gonna say. Say what you're gonna say before I say.
Well, you kind of lost my train. That just literally blew. No, what I'm just saying is, again, everything is subjective at this point. But then you guys have pushed it to a level of what you're just saying. What's the point? If you're not in that sort of team environment, what is the point of you trying to go to Uber, whatever? But it doesn't mean that people can't have fun at whatever level they want to have fun at. But that's just kind of my finishing thought.
People like
there.
to see how far they can go, but then there's a very small group of people, and there's always going to be a group of people that are vocal, who are not happy, about whatever the top record is, and those people would never. Like, it's not relevant to them because they were never going to compete at that level.
Right, and
so
in their
why
mind,
do they care so much?
They'll stick at whatever they want to stick at.
Yeah. I want to address Act's question. before it goes too far up here.
Yes, sir.
Ack asked, what do we think will come from the buyout of Cryptic
Mm.
by Embracer long term? I think we've already seen it. I think it's the new website. I think I'm going to laugh, or I'm not going to laugh, but it's going to be sad to look back a year or two from now, and the change from Cryptic being bought out by Embracer is this new Play Star Trek Online website where they're now posting the news, blogs, and all that as they're shifting away from the ARC website. I think that is legitimately the change that we're getting with Embracer, and I think people have unrealistic expectations and are hitting some hopium or whatever that there's going to be like big changes internally for Cryptic, which I think is just disconnected from reality, because I think the reason Embracer bought Perfect World and Cryptic is because they've seen how successful Stowe has been on its current track. So why the hell would they change it? Like, this game is printing them money. They're not exactly pumping out a ton of content for it, but all these people keep coming to it because all the new Star Trek shows. Every time Cryptic comes out with a new promo ship, it's like Triz doing right there at the money. Ban that bot. Every time, they come out with a new ship, people are spending hundreds on it. Why would Embracer want to change anything?
How do you ban someone there?
I don't know.
I can see remove. That's about it.
Hide user from the channel.
Oh, there you go.
But like, that's been my thoughts on it. Like, why would Embracer change anything? Like, right now, we may get frustrated with Stowe as people that play it on a regular basis, but they have said, we are not even like the target audience. That the target audience is the people that just log in to do the new missions that, don't play for months on end. They'll come in to buy a new ship, disappear again for a couple months.
And you do see that cycle, and I see that now a lot on Twitch. Like they'll be back for, especially when we've got bigger streamers that have like a lot of follows. It'll boost Stowe up for a bit, but then as soon as the missions are done, they're.
And when you see Cryptic promoting Stowe,
Elite,
it's always on like MMO websites, or they bring in Twitch streamers that just do variety gaming, and they'll pay them to come play STO for a little bit and get their viewers just to play Stowe. Like, the market that Stowe is targeting, or the way they're trying to target their monetization, is bring in as many new people as possible, have them enjoy the past 12 years of content that the game has, hope that they buy some ships, and
rinse and repeat.
That's it. There's nothing, there's no end game. Like, I too said it in one of the chats here.
I'm enjoying normal TFOs. Yeah, same here, Em.
Bossy Goose said, yeah, there isn't much to do once you've done all the missions. That's why the DPS race is a thing, is because people want to still play the game. I get a lot of shit from people because they see me focus on like ISE all the time, right? But it's not like I haven't done other content. I've done a ton of this other content, and how many times do I want to do gravity kills? How many times do you want to do gravity kills? How many times do you want to do a Days of Doom? It sucks. I don't want to play it.
Yeah, I'd have to. They're not the best TFOs, definitely.
How many times have I done like Gateway to Grethor? Zenkethi Front. I have a video on my channel titled Where's the Challenge for Zenkethi Front?
Well, again, it's subjective to how you enjoy. And like Greg was saying there earlier on his stream, where, am I really enjoying it, or is it just a way, a means to an end? I mean, it's kind of both. I actually do enjoy it. If I wasn't streaming, I'd be doing that paperwork, just because it just keeps me focused on just away from IRL, you know. And to me, kind of why I kind of didn't like the move to remove red alerts. That was just good for quick pew pews, right? That was just, it's been, this red alert on PC has been great. Just literally something to just pew at, you know. That's kind of, I'm happy at. Yeah, I know 80% of my time is a lot of quote unquote paperwork, but that, I'm still in the universe. I'm enjoying it, you know. And they need to do, you know, there was a comment there, something about, they say that people don't even play TFOs. The end game could be whatever you want it to be, really. I'm pretty sure there are people doing the things, you know, they want to do that are not being streamed, whatever that may be. You know, I was it the other day, I was watching a streamer, and he said, and this is kind of where I wanted to bring this up somehow, maybe this is the way I'll bring it up. He was just playing with his friends, just having fun. And then there was someone who came into his chat while he was streaming and joined them for a TFO and said, you know, I had to carry you guys or whatever. Like, are you so full of yourself that you actually have to mention that? Like, who cares? You know, you're going to random and or whatever. Why do you have to? Like, your warpness cell is bigger than his? Oh, great. You know, like, get out of here. You know, it's not. I guess because, again, that goes, we'll come back to that a little bit. But for me, I don't think there needs to be any shaming here at all. DPS shaming, ship shaming, whatever it may be. I mean, yeah, I'll make fun of ships here and there, but to the point where you're actually attacking the person's like and how they play in the game, I don't think is necessary. But sorry, that was a rant there. Okay, so the next one here, we'll move on to this one, and we'll go off of this one. What would you like to see the meta be? Do you want it to currently keep going in the Thaleron meta, or do you want it to go back to a sort of trinity where you would need certain builds to advance? And we're talking obviously in stow content, right? Stow context, I should say.
The Thaleron stuff, like I said before, it's too niche. It is, even if Thaleron, you know, continues developing as a meta option, it's the same thing I said before. If it's only a few people, so I don't want to see that. I would prefer to go back to a Trinity type play style, but I have to remind people, you know, people complain that Stow doesn't have the Trinity, but that's exactly how the high-end runs happen. You know, usually there's a dedicated tank, there's dedicated supports. It's the same thing in PvP. You know, they have tanks and healers over in PvP, and yet you'll have people complaining on like Reddit that there's no Trinity, and it's because there is a Trinity in this game. It's just people don't want to play the content that has it because it's too hard.
Or out of reach because they don't have a team.
Yeah, but I mean PvP, yeah. I there are groups and ways that they can get into PvP, like that Dash STO, Dash Armada, pretty much has most of the PvPers that still play the game in it. And they do things where they will, like, you can't bring in a tier 6 ship. They'll say like tier 4 PvP, turn your specializations off, things like that.
Hey, Augie.
They try.
Admiral, if you will come with
they
me.
try to bring it down to a more casual level, like Waldo said.
And again, there's just different ways to play this game, and it just doesn't. The perception sometimes is, of course, what is the content that's being put out there socially, right? Like on social platforms, and yet maybe people won't play it. And I remember you telling me that you would make these, you know, high-end builds, and you kind of touched on earlier where they wouldn't do well, quote unquote, do well, but that's because the majority of players, yeah, they just don't do that high-end stuff. You'll have a handful, obviously, right? Like there is a community, obviously, for DPS.
Yes.
It's just that for the
my
majority
issue
of
with the part of the issue is with like when it does come to DPS is if you really want to get involved with like a team environment, you have to be willing to do the other roles. You have to be willing to support, tank. You have to play as a team, and we there's a lot of DPS players that are not willing to do that, and that's a limiting factor too. Is there's some very skilled players out there, but because of their ego or whatever, they don't get involved with things because of that.
Right.
Just not
HS
working
Mini.
with the team.
So, okay, one of the things that sorry, go finish your thought.
Giant Dutch Viking asked what made Thaleron good. Thaleron's been good for a while. They buffed it up when they came out with Legendary Scimitar, but it's really just been getting the strategy down, figuring out a strategy to actually take advantage of it. And people have done that. That's why there's an 11 million DPS ISA up, and why there will probably be like a 5 to 8 million DPS ISE once we can get one of those runs done. What were we gonna say, Tris?
Something that I forgot to touch on when it comes to what one needs to get into the meta. You touched on it. So what is required team-wise and time-wise for a full cycle?
You need to have not just a built-out DPS character. You need to have a built-out tank character, built-out supports. If you're doing high-end, it really depends on the specific environment you're in, but like in the split runs, if you add a side nuker build, but the issue with the side nuker build is not everyone can do it. We tried a bunch of people with the side nukers, and most people can't handle it. That's just a skill level that's a big skill barrier.
I remember you were talking about. Sorry, before I say that. So what is the optimal? So what's the optimal sort of configuration? One DPS build, one tank, one support, or is it like two tanks?
Of run?
Let's say whatever the meta is now, like to get your cycles in, to get your because I remember you guys spent an hour in a chat when there was no cooldown, when there was a cooldown I should say, for a full cycle. It was what, half hour, 40 minutes?
So when we were doing the split runs, it was pretty much Nick and I always on side nuker. It was a 3-2 split, so a DPSer and then the two supports on left, and then two side DPSers going towards the right side of the map, one to take out the right transformer, one to take out the gateway, was how we were doing it. And then one of the supports on the left side would probably just be a tank. But you didn't really need that much tankiness because we got to a point with how the speed of the runs was where survivability wasn't really needed.
Yeah, everything went down.
Even the HSE runs, dude, it's brutal. Like, the only reason you need a tank right now is if the people you're playing with are low DPS. Like, and that sucks. I hate that is how we are with tanking right now. Because I've got tank characters. I love tanking.
Aeon, how's it going? Is there a comp that you can pull enough threat to keep you alive?
All you have to do is with the speed of a split run, because we're talking about runs that are 40 to 50 seconds. When everyone gets to the center, you just hit the protomatter field projector. To just have the supporter tank hit it.
You're alive, gotcha. Burma's not back. Yeah, no, the reason why I ask again, like, a lot of people will ask, okay, well, these videos will be pulled out, right? People are doing like the number of DPS that they're doing, and then, well, how'd you get that? And of course they will show what they do get, but I haven't necessarily seen the high-end Thaleron video out yet, and or explaining what it would take to get into it. So I wanted to ask that because I don't know.
Let me explain. So for ISA, the total combat time of the Thaleron runs, the ones that I was involved with, were as fast as 13 seconds for the entire run.
Huh.
So basically, the person hitting Thaleron will hit pre-position and hit obfuscation screen behind the gateway before anyone even engages the first group. You have two supports that basically just sit in the center and try to get as many debuffs on the spheres as possible without killing the spheres, which is an issue in advanced because they don't have any HP. The more we can debuff them, the more potential damage there is from Thaleron. And then there'd be two CSV players. They would quickly nuke the start once the Thaleron user says to go, and they would take the start out in a second, take the sides out in just a couple seconds, and then go back to the center and take out the tac cube. The issue with the CSV builds is, like anything else, it's having people that are really good with those builds, and that of itself is only a few people in the game that are that experienced with that specific build and that type of environment. Then if we go over to Elite, the reason Infected Elite has been so tricky for Thaleron is because there's the two side nukers who pre-position on the sides, and you have one support, and then there has to be another Torp DPSer that goes in and takes out the tac cube at the start, and just the entire starting group. So basically there's 4 DPSers in the run and 1 support. That's how the ISC Thalerons are going. Thaleron runs. The start goes down from that person. They're using all their buffs to take the start out really fast. The support's grouping up the spheres as close to the gateway as possible in a position where Thaleron can hit them, debuffing them. The 2 side nukers are taking the sides down in 10 seconds, and then rushing over to the center to debuff everything as much as we can, and then help take down the tac cube along with the person who took out the start. The support's got everything they're trying to group up, and then the Thaleron user is hitting the Thaleron on the, on all the things there.
Night Short, thank you for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, I like that. I see. I didn't know. I know I asked you about it, but that's something, typically, time-wise, how long would that take you to do a cycle for everyone to get a shot?
It wouldn't be a cycle. The builds are too specialized. So when it comes to the side nukers for ISE, there's 3 people in the game that can do it at that level. Nick, myself, and Game Freaks.
Mm-hmm.
And Nick only has 1 character for it. Game Freaks has 1 character for it. I'm the only one that has 2 characters set up that can do it. And SOB has it set up a bit better. So there is no cycling.
Oh, wow. All right. A year ago, there was a little tournament between content creators, build a tank, bunch of pub TFOs, and don't die. Well, never even knew about that.
The issue with, any tanking stuff now in a pug, we've had so much survivability power creep. Not dying. I've stripped off so much of the survivability on my tank as is, even in channel runs, because it's more beneficial to bring in utility for the map to support the team. I don't know. I don't know if I'll run any competitions like that. To be honest, Giant Dutch Viking, having dealt with some of the other content creators in the past, earlier this year, I have no interest in running a competition between them or being involved with any of them, for the most part. I think there's quite a few content creators out there for Stowe that have pretty much burnt their bridge with me.
Hopefully that's not me. No, I was kidding. Stupid.
It could never be mean to Trizio.
Never? Are you kidding me? Sir, you... Anyways. Master Dude, how's it going? I was thinking group within the podcast. I just point my ship and then press spacebar.
I think the issue with like the four main people on the shuttle bay or shittle bay, whatever you're calling it, podcast, is that Triz is the only one actively playing the game. Like Gust, McStud, myself. This isn't our main game right now. This is Triz is the only one who this is his main game.
I mean that is true. I mean I know I see them pop on, but I have a question to Casual SAB. Did you play the No Win scenario back in the day in the original one? Did you win?
Yeah, I got that on a couple characters. I got the Kirk's protege on SAB. I even have it on SOB on my main my old main Romulan.
I remember there were actual groups there near the end of when they announced that they were sunsetting that TFO. There was a channel that was taking a bunch of people just to get I guess it would be the accolade. Right?
Oh, Gerbog, you're fine. Gerbog, you're fine. I had a fairly negative interaction with a group of content creators, I should say.
Merkstar, how's it going? What's your main game at the moment, SAB?
Warships. And O game, of course. O game's always been a game I've played on the side for a long time. That's a browser game, doesn't require that much engagement. Warships, I've definitely grinded a ton this year. I started playing in January, and I've gotten several lines up to tier 10, so I have been playing it a lot this year. Currently working on the Puerto Rico, or towards Puerto Rico, of course, in the dockyard.
If I'm not mistaken, Nick did say that you outgrinded a lot more people that have been playing longer than you.
Yes.
To get certain things. That was a thing in chat, in voice chat. Like he was already at a certain. Like, how did you get that right? He's like, he gets into it. You know, that guy actually took care of one of the questions. What other games you play? You know, so that was intrigues me. I used to play Warship type game. It's on PS though, like a long time ago. Warship Gunner. That's what I played.
You know, you had another question in here. What game would I like to try? There's one. I was thinking, like, I've been watching like a lot of DCS stuff from like Grim Reapers and that. I've thought about picking up Command Modern Operations just to do some stuff over there. That's like a more of a sim type game, but I don't know. I've been looking at some games that, you know, are offline, don't have this type of monetization to try. I've been having a lot of fun with They Are Billions. They Are Billions has been a really fun game.
What do you play?
Or, you know, classic like DEF CON. Yeah, or ICBM's the new version of that, right?
WoW has been out for quite some time. O game is an old road to Rome. Not interested in returning back. Star Citizen now is getting better. Certainly not bug free. I mean, every ship, I would say every ship, every game has its issues. I believe, if I'm not mistaken.
O game is definitely part of it is sunk cost fallacy. Of I have put a lot of time into developing my account. There have been points where I've been burnt out and thought about quitting, but you know, eventually it's just something fun to do on the side. The way I have my account set up, I can play it very passively. So if I want, you know, to play O game a certain way, I can basically do my dailies in O game in 2 to 3 minutes, basically.
I felt that that's what kind of my dailies were in timelines when I was playing that, and then I forgot my account. Timelines was kind of a good sort of when the original win scenario back. I would love to have that back. I would love to have the 2 previous iterations of the mirror events. Like I remember when I first started in Stowe, that they were cycling the mirror and other TFOs per hour, if I remember correctly. And that was like at the top of the hour for me. It would always been that the Mirror Invasion, which was the old map that had, I believe you're on ESD, I think. Field. But is that the only other games you're looking forward to?
So the reason I'm not really looking forward to like new games, I just, I've picked up quite a few games in the past few years, where, yeah, I played them a little bit, but I would rather wait for, the games to be out for a little bit and on a decent sale before I get them. Starfield looks interesting, but realistically, I've got all of the Fallouts sitting in my Steam library and I haven't played them. Something about me, going back to that, I'm a hoarder, and it takes for me forever to go through and filter through and actually get through things.
You're a hoarder? Are you sure?
Yeah. Haven't you seen my account? There's something you didn't know about me. I'm a hoarder.
There you go. See? Wasn't that hard?
Now you can trim that out and put that at the start of this when you make this a video, so it doesn't sound as bad for me.
That is a good clip, though. That if anyone wants to clip that, feel free, and we'll put that in there for free. When I don't. So buy me ship out what I want.
Wayne, no, I haven't. I think I tried. If there was Elite Force like a Voyager one. If so, I think I did try that on the PS2 way back. But
how many games you have on Steam?
300.
What? Have you played them?
No. No. This is like, I'm not buying more games until I go through some of the games that I have. And the issue is,
Captain on the bridge.
I feel like, I guess this is one of the things that sucks with playing MMOs is, like, you get tied into wanting to keep up with the dailies, and then that eats up a bit of time each day.
Yeah.
When you're doing multiple games, and sometimes, when you're doing a single player game, you'd want to be able to sit down and really just invest a lot of time focused on that game. And I think the other thing for me is with doing the content creation, especially the schedule that I've been trying to keep up in the past couple of months, like I'm not really getting ahead when it comes to making videos. Like, when I do a video, in most cases, the video is out. Like, I have just finished recording it within an hour of it being released. Like, it's why you don't have videos queued up on my channel for members to watch, that I'm waiting to release. Because I am terrible at getting like a bunch of content done ahead of time. Everything is done like right before a release.
I have a video on Q1.
Doing that, it sucks, and it does put that pressure of, oh, I committed to getting a video done today, and I need to go work on it, so I'm not going to go and do like a game or whatever, right? So
right. Mike Fields, how you doing, sir?
That's one thing that really sucks with the way that I've currently got the YouTube stuff going, but I'll eventually figure out a good pace for how I do my YouTube videos. Just, I've got Alien Isolation. I haven't played it yet.
Oh, Grabog's got 481. Jeez.
Yeah, Humble Bundle is crazy.
Any idea when your new vid is done? I can't remember what you mentioned before.
Yeah, I recorded it before doing this this little interview with Trizio. So it is done for tomorrow. Tuesday's video will be a news video. Wednesday's video, I think I mentioned this on the stream I did the other day. I had recorded it, and then I realized that I was just a complete idiot and forgot to include master keys in it. So I need to re-record it. Yeah, because Or I showed you the PowerPoint, I think, or the spreadsheet.
Master Dude, if you don't clip that of Spencer saying he's an idiot, I don't know, sir.
That's the
That
difference between me and some of the others in the DPS scene is I can admit that I screw up things, and I can also tell you that unlike quite a few others in the DPS scene, I'll gladly jump over to a supporting role or tank role. Meanwhile, they know who they are when I say these things, that they just want to sit there on a DPS build and get boosted.
yeah, you just okay, so
Yes, Gribog, thank you. I did see that, and I did want to say thank you. That was beautiful.
that was not. Don't go to that site. It's not good. You kind of touched on this earlier, and maybe I'll leave that one behind after. But actually, think about this. So, talking about your videos, content you put out, what do you do about negative feedback? And that doesn't have to be comments, just things that you hear overall. Like, how does that affect you?
Negative things that I hear. You know, if there's something I'm messing up, I like people telling me. If I have, like, I gave an example the other day. I had somebody on my video about the Stargazer where it was like really weird feedback. It was like, you're looking at your old builds, come up with something new. And it's just like, what the hell are you talking about? I'm comparing the ship to one that I already have in the game that's like similar. And it was like there's some comments or feedback where I just don't know how to respond to it. Now, if there's something really wacky, I'll leave a like on it and I may even pin it. Like I've done that in the past with some like negative comments where like on the how are people getting 2 million DPS video, some dude came in and he was going on about how he's doing like 4 million. Meanwhile, when you look at his channel, he was doing 4 million total damage in a match. So compared that to 2 million DPS, 2 million DPS would mean you're doing 4 million damage in 2 seconds. And this guy's doing 4 million damage over like a 10-minute match, right? So I pinned that because I thought that was funny. And I'm gonna leave this brick. But negative feedback, I don't know. I mean, I've had some. Giant Dutch Viking, wasn't it? Was it you with the thumbnails? And that's true. I had some really, really bad thumbnails there for a while. Like some feedback, like it may sound negative, but it can be good. Like having those extra viewpoints can actually be beneficial. It's just hoping that the people saying it are explaining their reasoning and providing solutions. It's the same thing the devs tell us, right? Is don't just say this is garbage. Say why it's garbage and how it can be improved.
And complaints at his own channel. No, I guess it's for me.
No,
you say where it sort of irks me, and not you, but like not particularly, just that sentiment of right away it's crap. All right, well, but then that's a very subjective still, and I think that your recommendation has a lot of weight to it, because you've been a staple of the community since the beginning of the game. And how it irks me though is just, well, if you're not playing the way I'm playing, so I think my thing is, why don't we just figure out a way of how we want to play and just go there? There's no always need to do what someone is there. The information you put out there is valuable though, because obviously it's mechanics, right? And a lot of people want to learn how the game works. But when you, at a certain point, you get to, okay, well, if I'm just playing advanced, why do I need to have the most super duper builds out there. You've said that before. You've actually used the word super duper. I have that clip. You know, and you've mentioned before as well, as long as you're getting to the content you're playing, doesn't matter, right? As long as you're having fun. I have you also clipped on that, sir, so don't deny it now.
It's true. People, this is something that we've talked about before. People invest way too much in builds for little things that aren't going to matter. DPRM, big example. DPRM is a good console, but it's not like getting it is going to change your world. You know, realistically, that console is, depending on whether you get it legitimately or illegitimately through eBay. You know, it's going to be like $50 to $70. Is that console going to give you $50 to $70 of extra performance? No. Most of these things, they're nice to have, do not get me wrong. DPRM's cool. It's a nice survivability. But is it going, for the $50 to $70 it cost, is it going to give you $50 to $70 worth of entertainment? You know, it's DPRM, many other things, they're nice to have, but they're so overpriced, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And Giant Dutch Viking, that comment you left me I didn't really view that as negative. It was really just that's the only feedback I've had in like the past couple months. You know, I don't get that much feedback, so it was just the first thing that came to my mind, and because I saw you in chat, I didn't take it negative.
Oh, those are good questions for you there, Spencer, on YouTube. Two of them. Dutch and Ali Kagan. You want me to read them?
I got him.
Yeah.
If the STO community was more organized, would this sway Cryptic into changing, or you know, if the community was more organized, I don't know. I feel like they already know that there's lots of things that we would like to see. But the management there has the team so locked down with what they're currently working on. Like Bordicus on this last 10 Forward stream, he pretty much said what he hasn't even looked at any dilithium stuff for the dilithium economy now in a while, because he's been so focused on just making ships. Like, that's, even if we're organized, it's I don't think it matters. It doesn't change how they're going to do things at the end of the day. And I don't know if Kale's going to exactly communicate, you know, things like that to them internally and that they would care. The German community manager, I will tell you, he or she, I don't know, I don't even know their name, but the German community manager actively was going through and having like meetups with parts of the community in the German STO Discord that the German community manager maintains and runs, and was trying to pass things along to the development team, and nothing came of it. So I don't think it matters.
Kind of sad, actually.
What is the actual DPS that would be needed to do an ISE? The original design is 550k for the entire team. It's basically you need 550,000 DPS between the team to take out the starting group. So 110k per player.
That's an interesting statement there by Mike. Kale, dude, needs to be replaced. Okay, well, if he gets replaced with someone else, and Spencer just talked about the German community, which I've heard good things about, manager, I don't really think there's nothing that a community manager would be able to do other than relay messages. But at the end of the day, if all they have time for to make them money is ships, well, guess what they're going to concentrate on? Especially now that they've been bought out, and guess who has to answer? You know, they have to answer for what? The money, right?
I was talking to I think I stopped in a stream Goss was doing one day. The thing with Kale versus the community manager. Obviously, the German community manager seems to be much more engaged with the community, a bit more invested into the game than Kale is. I really do not think Kale is that invested in Stowe.
Can't even. I'm sorry.
I think the difference is that he is actually involved with the conversations happening internally at Cryptic, whereas the German community manager, being on a different continent, isn't in those meetings, right? So,
Whoa. I never knew about that one, Ed. That's interesting.
yeah. Kale, I mean, for me, what I don't like is that as somebody that plays the game on like a fairly regular basis, I don't feel like Kale is representing players like myself, you know, to the development team. And as much as I don't, you know, I don't like how it seems that he doesn't understand a lot about the game or things like that. I think while he doesn't represent players like most of us here, he probably, you know, is representing more of their target audience of the people that are not bothering to put much time into the game. I don't know. You know, the people that are just trying the game. Like the things he does on stream, the fan art, that's just really casual stuff that I don't know. Just
I mean, you have a ship that is a command ship or an intel ship, and what did you do with? What did you put on it? Not a build that would sort of represent that place. You know, that optimization. It doesn't have to be like uber meta torps or anything. No, just if it's a torp platform, maybe put more torps on it, right? Put a beam on if you want for your immersion or whatever. But just, you know, it would be nice if it had that level of detail. I think it would go a long way, in my opinion, if that was a thing. Just get stuff fixed. I mean, is it that easy though? And you know, correct me if I'm wrong, Spencer. Right now the dev team that exists, they weren't here when the game started.
yeah, that's why it's in that video I did about the QA and like how I feel like there's just a really big disconnect between the development team and the player base. I talked about there being brain drain, you know, and we've seen that. That's why the Foundry doesn't exist anymore. The people that understood the code for it, they left the company, and who was left at Cryptic could not maintain it.
Yeah.
Brain drain's definitely a big issue. I really like. I've had conversations since that video with people from Cryptic. I don't think it was the most well received video I've ever done internally there. You know, and I may have been wrong with some of the takes. There may be people on the dev team that maybe, you know, play the game a little bit more than I'm giving them credit for. But when I look at the things coming out, you know, it doesn't feel that way. But I have that very biased perspective. Like I see a trait that involves feedback pulse and it's on a promo ship, and I'm sitting here wondering how the hell is that worthy of being on a promo ship 5 or 6 years after they nerfed feedback pulse into the dirt, you know, like.
But is fun worth it?
The thing is you would use that trait on a very, very heavy tank, and where are heavy tanks needed?
No. So I know you automatically went there, but what I mean is, if someone can come up with a build that is fun to them and that trait is worth for them, let's just say if it is, wouldn't that be also subjective if it's fun, right? It may not be the optimal, but if I could just reach through the screen, sir, and just whoa.
To ban the porn bot.
Okay, well let's come here, porn bot. Add as a moderator? No. Where is it? No, we're not doing that.
It's not the first video I've done criticizing their QA team, and I feel like the video is still appropriate. If it's everything I said in that video, I still believe is accurate. There may be people playing the game a bit more internally than I'm giving them credit for, but they're not in a position to have any impact on the direction of the game.
This is interesting. Ships that past year seemed shield focus. I think that's easy to say because of what we've seen on screen. Now, I will admit that the trait, the console from the Sagan incoming is going to be probably quote unquote an issue. You know what I said about it, Spencer? Someone pulled that out on me. I'll just fly around it. I may get stuck for like 1 second. Oh, big whoop. Let me evasive maneuvers, get around it, big whoop. I just think sometimes people make it such a big deal. Well, I love Star Trek. Hey, we're gonna put Star Trek stuff in the game. Oh, it sucks because Shield sucks. Okay, I get that, but again, if we're just playing for the sake of Star Trek, I'll enjoy it for the way that I'll play. I'm gonna use it, but that's just me. I'm pretty sure there are a lot of people that will like that console. Now, someone did make a comment. I can't remember when it was, either on the YouTube or when we're on streaming, is they're going to use it in a Voth Reach run. See, that's an issue. That's definitely an issue.
It's not actually going to be large enough to have much of an impact, it looks like.
Well, if you're tailing me, and if I was so inclined to do so, knowing that we're both going to get stuck, I would just do it from this. You know what I mean? Like in that type of environment, I guess it's going to be a troll console. Okay, well, that's fine. But if you're playing in a group that, again, you are kind of normal with, that you play Pews nightly with, I mean, you're going to go into a random TFO. It's going to be a pug anyways. Just stop trying to. What? Excuse me? No, I'm not. No.
Oh, Triz, I forgot to do this for you.
Oh no, what? A question is a question, but labeled as a question doesn't make it double question or third game life. 7 to 10 years. I'd like to say 3 to 5. Get that out of there. Get that. Anak ka ng tokwa ka naman. Oh. You can have the burning stuff, sir. Not that part. Okay? Cut that part right out. Of course he would. Of course he would.
Had to get that in there for you.
I know you did. But yeah, I would like to see Stowe for a good 5 more years, but I don't know how that's going to sort of look like, other than them pumping out more ships and quarterly episodes here and there.
I do not expect a ton of systems changes at this point, especially given their focus on just pumping out the ships.
Mm-hmm.
This goes back to what we were saying before. I think there's a lot of people with high hopes for the gearbox change, but I think Gearbox bought this knowing exactly what they were doing with their current strategy and wants them to probably continue that strategy given how successful it is. At the end of the day, every promo ship that's being acquired is $200 to $300 in Cryptic's pocket. So why would they change that? Look at how many people still get promo ships, even though they're that expensive.
Mm-hmm. Spend my money in one game to do well. Then sure you tried into Storm and nobody was willing to take the collective bargaining approach because it didn't matter. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna with the Filipino curse words. What I will say is anak ka ng tokwa. You know what that means? I've said that before. Son of a tofu. That's as
Truce
much
does
as you
lots
can
of
do.
pug runs. It's all Truce does.
Truth, how many pug runs do you do? Not a lot. There's group of people playing them regularly, and if you have runs, trolled, stupid. No, I get that. What I'm saying is, it's if I ever did a pug run, and this is just me. Again, I'm speaking from my perspective, and someone pulled that on me, I'm not gonna get angry. I really am not. And others will, and I understand and get that, but I won't. Jellyship
I
directly
think
mirrored.
the jellyfish was just really lazy design.
I enjoyed that ship. It was so fun. Temporal. Son of a tofu, stinky from.
Yeah, well, Dwayne, you got it from Augie, but how many packs were opened, to get it?
Said. To get said ship. All right, captains. Here's what we're gonna do. We have. I don't want to keep Spencer up too late because I know he's been really good about keeping his sleep schedule, and I do.
See this, Triz? This was coffee. I've been drinking it throughout the stream.
I still don't want you to stay up like to what you did. You did so good. We're not cutting it now. What I'm saying is, I'd say get your questions in, captains, because I have one more, maybe two more questions to go through, but I want to make sure this is all. Again, we've made this more about Spencer because we want to get to know him more, and I've learned a lot, and I thought I wouldn't. I didn't. I wasn't going to learn anything, I should say, and. I'd say get him in, caps. This is a great conversation that we're having, and
from the start. The start was brutal. Cut that out when you make this a video.
I'm not even touching this, sir. It's just gonna go on YouTube, but the way it is. I really think, again, we've had this countless conversations, and I was kind of maybe a little generous in giving them a year, but after you saying what you said there, why would they change something that's going to make them money? Or that they're expected to make that much money. So, and I said this before, the legendary was the first legendary bundle was sort of a test bed, and guess what happened? Well, yeah, they've been pumping out legendary ships and with a bunch of DACA that they don't need, that a lot of us don't need, really.
Waldo asked a question about EC inflation. EC inflation is going to continue. Cryptic is currently on a warpath against a lot of the keybinds that legitimate players use. They're nerfing a bunch of gen send message commands, so things like the Dolphin keybinds, the crafting keybinds, the Admiralty ones, they've all been nuked in the past couple of months. But that is not going to impact the gold sellers that are causing the massive EC inflation. There are gold sellers out there that have hundreds to thousands of characters that are on permanent rotations of doing Admiralty, fully automated, and that software has the ability to recognize things on the screen, and they can have the mouse move to location and click, which is probably what they were doing from the beginning for redundancy. So the EC inflation is going to continue. Cryptic doesn't care. I've in the past had conversations specifically talking about some of these accounts doing this, and Cryptic does seemingly not care. So EC inflation is going to continue. I asked on one of the 10 forwards if they had any plans to address it, And the only response I got was Mordecai saying that EC inflation is just natural in an MMO that's been out for over a decade. And it doesn't surprise me that they would be unaware of, potential botting incidents like that, because I remember what happened with the KDF Foundry and Orion Slavers. They couldn't figure it out. The only reason they found it out was because I slipped up something while talking to Jet in a voice chat on TeamSpeak one night, and within a week they had that fixed. But they are, while they talk about having logs sometimes to be able to trace things, the contraband market was completely flooded for years, and they did nothing. They couldn't find the source of it. So my faith in their capabilities to resolve the issues with EC inflation is absolutely zero. I if they want to address EC inflation, the first step is getting rid of cracking down on these accounts that are just fully automated, botting Admiralty and printing hundreds of billions of EC a month. And that would be the first step. But until they do that, those accounts are going to continue dumping billions of EC into the game every week and continuing to just crater the economy. Mike, if you're playing on normal or advanced, that could be beam, like literally that could be any high-end energy weapon build, beam overload, cannon scatter volley, fire and will probably if buffed up enough.
See, he loves beam overload. What?
Yeah, beam overload's terrible. Giant Dutch Viking, where do I see my channel in 2 years? More diversified. Right now, my current content structure is I'm looking at 3 content pieces a week, 1 specific STO news video, and then a stream on Saturday where I'm doing my dailies or a new build and then interacting with viewers. Long term, if I can keep this type of pace up, then that'll be good long term. But obviously, more diversified game wise by that point. Hopefully, by that point, I will have also started to factor in warships into my channel. But I am still a fairly casual player in warships and need to get good before I feel comfortable doing content consistently for that, because I still play it very casually, and I get punished in some matches for the decisions I make.
Whatever, casual player.
I'm a very casual player.
See that in Twitch chat?
Yeah, what can we do to clear the air and bury the hatchet on people who are currently barred from the DPS charts? There's only a couple people banned from the DPS tables. If they're banned for a good reason. The only one that I can think of that you'd probably be mentioning would be, I'm just gonna take a random guess here and say Victoria. That's just my guess. And that decision, if that's who you're talking about, was by me to ban that individual from every community that I run based on them scamming people. At least I think I don't remember all the conversations. Like, I talked to Big Papa a ton when that happened. He tried to be a broker about it, and just
some boomers will know this as the stow turns. And recruit you to cross over a different game. Just Star Citizen. I'm gonna bring up Star Atlas. None of this track.
let's see here. Yeah, Sam, I don't think inflation's going to change with EC or DIL for a while. Ack,
You get worse.
casual. I've never done anything casual. I know. I know. You would be surprised how casual I can play some games, though. Sometimes when I'm playing single player games, I'll go as casual as to just pull out a trainer and give myself infinite health or infinite ammo or whatever, and just have a fun time with it. Sometimes I do actually like it. As weird as it may seem with me doing the deeps chasing, there are actually points where I like, yeah, Wii mod, yeah, exactly. I just like to just chill out in the game and not worry about things. Just enjoy the gameplay.
Night, Dwayne. Thanks for hanging out. Weemod? What's Weemod?
It's a piece of software that has a bunch of trainers in it for a variety of games.
Trainers, like what? To give you
Trainers
whatever?
trainers software, basically like a cheat engine. Um,
Oh.
So people will set up a trainer for a game, and that trainer basically they may have it set up with like infinite health, infinite ammo, infinite resources, things like that.
I remember that in my days of Nintendo. Who here had
Yeah.
Game Genie?
I remember that stuff on the PlayStation 2.
Game Genie for the win. That was fun. It's just it's just sometimes fun to just kind of go through stuff like that.
Giant Dutch Viking. Yeah, Stu's had a really big amount of success with the beginner content. And also really good timing to take in the spot that Timberwolf had in the community after all that happened to Timberwolf.
Mm-hmm.
That was great timing on Stu's part. Really great timing. I don't know if oh no, it's hard with warships because there's already a lot of really good beginner content. I mean, I'm sure I could go through and do some stuff. I want to get a ton more done with O Game just because there's nothing there for O Game. The issue I've just had generally with O Game so far is the videos, the ones I've done so far just end up being such lengthy videos. Like the first video was an hour long, the second one was like 30 or 40 minutes. Some of the topics in that game just take a while.
Game,
Any other questions from you, Trizzy? Or have we? What has Star Trek taught me? Was one you had on here.
So my last question, and because we're at almost here at the 1 o'clock mark, so my last question to you, sir, yes, what has Star Trek, not Stowe, Star Trek taught you?
Ooh.
It's a good one, eh?
I don't know. World War III's gonna happen in our lifetime. We're only like a year or two out from the Bell riots, wasn't it? So, I follow one of the accounts that I follow on Twitter, like on a really this is an account that I actually follow, is Endgame World War III. So, Star Trek has taught me to prepare, and
Really?
I'm gonna build a bunker.
Weren't we supposed to move in with you, sir?
Yes. I'm gonna build a bunker. And I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna
Monthly community town, all kind of event to stop during the content drought. Brought the player union to talk about and fizzled for me few, but cared idea of being. Yeah, I think for the Stowe community bunker.
I like that. That's good.
Just like big arrows saying Stowe community.
We're gonna gonna buy some land up in Montana, make a bunker there.
No, I think, Star Trek, I'm not going to go into the whole detail, but for me, what it's taught me is just hope for the best. To be as positive as I can be. I would rather lean into the positivity, but Star Trek is not perfect, obviously. Even if you look at the shows, it's not perfect. even though they want to explore, strange new worlds and, seek out new life, well, when they seek out new life, sometimes they just want to kill them.
Merkster, just a reminder.
Be more. Invite me to Bunker Spencer. There's your blue line. Let me measure him helper. A friend of mine has 200 acres in Wyoming. Let's go! Yes! Yes! There you go, Sam. Now you can see. Yes! Let's go! I remember that talk was actually real. Millennium Arch, I was just involved in. Oh, what was that? Millennium Arch and Jamie was just involved in? Oh. Mm-hmm.
Is there any other questions that people have that they want to get in here?
I think that was absolutely no deepest doing it, but over. Come on now. No, before we head out here, first and foremost, thank you, Spencer, for doing this. It's not that different from what we do when we're in voice chat, but I think this was fun. I hope you had fun.
Yeah, to answer, I've seen this picture right below me of me with the heart sign and beam overload. And just a daily reminder that beam overload is not the budget weapon type. I don't know why a lot of people think it is, or like the budget build type. The beam overload extension trait is a Lobie ship. Cannon Scatter Volley has the extension trait from a free ship that you get as a Klingon recruit that you then get unlocked account wide. Like Cannon Scatter Volley has like over twice the performance of Beam Overload, and you get the trait for free. Beam Overload has a Lobie ship requirement to get the damn extension trait, and yet that's what people are going on about as their budget, like the budget builds. I don't get it. Why are people doing this? It hurts me, Tris.
You already said it in your stream. Why? Why are people doing it? Because what? You actually see it on? Okay, you're not. You're not answering the question, sir. An on-screen thing. How much would a woodchuck would? I used to be able to say that fast.
Yes. Beam Overload looks canon.
Thank you. Thank you. No, Captain, I do appreciate you as well, hanging in the Twitch bridge and YouTube. If you're on the YouTube, like the vid, leave a comment after, and subscribe. We are going to do a little bit more, so hopefully I'm going to confirm my interview with Q Continuum tomorrow. But again, the reason why I did this first, the reason why I did with Spencer first is, one, I've known him the longest from all the content creators, and two, he he found me humbly streaming one day on Twitch, and
That's true.
that was quite the. I will say that I have looked up to Spencer when I started Stowe, of most of the content creators, just because, even though he says he's casual, he's not, obviously.
I'm a casual player. It's in my name.
It could be in your name. It doesn't mean that you are a casual, sir.
Have you seen your stream advertisement? It talks about you being the #1 DPS streamer for STO on Twitch.
You making that doesn't mean it's true.
I put it on all the Facebook pages earlier.
Why would you do that? Okay, captains. You see, this is the rapport though that we do have. I'm very thankful. Again, Spencer, thank you. I know I've kept you up past your bedtime.
You just ruined my sleep schedule.
Oh, listen, I warned you about a week. I gave you a week. Okay, but okay, Master Dude, stop it. What we're gonna do, captains, is we're going to raid here on Twitch.
Wait, I didn't answer everything.
Yeah, you did.
It's true that cannons do have a piloting skill requirement, and beam overload is more accessible. That is true.
Oh, sorry. Yeah,
I would say
ahead.
though,
I've already found
that I would almost say fire will instead of beam overload, but
that's not true. Beam overload right now, as it now, outperforms Fa.
That's not true.
Are you sure?
Fire will has a higher theoretical ceiling. The issue is that people have issues with the extension methods.
He's just trying to make it great again. You love the FA meta. You so love the FA meta.
I want Fire Will to come back.
We need to clip that. It sounded so sad. That was so sad. Lacks the DPS and draws too much anger for new players. Yes, yeah, for new players, man, doing FA. Oof. Good luck with that. That is FA has less position requirement. Agreed.
I like my Fire Will. Don't ruin my immersion.
But yet you'll ruin my immersion?
You ruin everyone's immersion.
That's true. I do. I actually do. He's
yeah,
not
we
wrong.
see your inventory and we see that, you know, there's whales in the game, but you know, where's the aquarium at, man? Your character belongs in one. You belong in one.
So bad. I've been answered, Mike. You're so bad. Question: which captain is your favorite captain of all Trek? I think he did. Yeah, it was Picard, right? Was your favorite captain?
Oh, of course, Picard.
Mike, if you this will be on the YouTube channel, so feel free to captains if you do.
Start
If you
was
came
rough.
late. Yeah, he said
The
this rough.
start
I
was
thought it was
very-
pretty awesome. I think it was funny. Your immersion is your own. We can't ruin it unless. Thank you. I agree 100%. Or was casual. So again, captains, Spencer is part of the shuttle bay here, so we're going to be back. But this was just an awesome opportunity just to talk one-on-one with the most casual player in Stowe, of course. But I
That's
think
damn right there. Most casual player in all of the content creator community. I'm the most casual.
Sure. Never mind. I won't say that anymore. But hopefully we'll be back tomorrow with another one. But know that McStud and Goss are going to be after Q as well. And there's a reasoning for Q, but we'll try to find that out tomorrow. Seriously though, would you like to speak to the Stoked crew? I can get asked to join with you all. Sure. I'm always open to talking with anyone about anything. I'm not. Stop. No, Dutch. No. Sound like he's a fast way to acquire EC. I bet. Isn't R&D boxes a lot better for return?
No, keys are better than R&Ds, but Delta Line's promo packs are the best.
But I thought because of how cheap the promo boxes were. No. Is that one box is like 15?
Delta's the best conversion.
Delta?
Lines. It's
Why?
gonna be my
What would I
Wednesday
know?
video.
What would I know?
I got a spreadsheet. Were you not watching my last stream, Triz?
Your last stream? No, I was there, but I wasn't able to. I was just listening. Remember,
thought
I
you
said
were
I was
a dedicated
lurking.
viewer.
I came there to say hi, and I lurked, sir.
Take a look what I'm sending you on Discord, okay?
Oh no. Most casual
This is my
player.
Wednesday video.
Ooh. How do I message you his info? What you can't.
I am
you
casual.
in Discord?
You know, my actual favorite ship, I lied to Triz. My favorite ship is the Suliban Cell ship. It's got an exchange on it.
The what now? What's?
The Suliban Cell ship.
Hold on. Are you part of the Discord? Mike, or you can. How do I message you his info? You could. Oh. Yeah, if you're part of the Discord. Hold on here. You can message me there on Discord. Give me a sec. Give me 1 sec. I'll do. Oh, sorry. I'm going to also link Mr. Spencer's channel here as well before we go. So if
What
you
is my favorite theme build? Whatever I can put cannons scatter volley on, like a Defiant. There we go.
You.
Or
That's-
Jem'Hadar bug ship. That's my daily driver, right? Is the legendary bug ship with the Polaron scatter volley build. It's what I use for my endeavors. It's been on SOB for like the last couple months.
Hold on. Where is
Oh,
it?
I just disappeared.
No. I know. I was gonna give the invite because if I go to switch screens here, because it's capturing Discord.
DPS parsers would, yeah, fire at will. Like if I look at the Like even the weapons firing mode analysis, like fire at will in theory has a lead over beam overload. It's not as much, but like it's still like in theory it should be able to beat it.
Oh, look at that chart. That's interesting. Okay, I'm gonna link something here in the YouTube chat. This is the Discord if anyone wants to join, and we'll also
I'm gonna
link.
put a link in Twitch chat.
Please, feel free. Yeah. Censoring
This
Spencer?
is-
No censoring.
This is the like a detailed post math-wise about what firing mode is best on paper. Fire at will if there's enough targets will beat beam overload. The issue is with fire at will is getting the uptime. It's not as simple as the other firing modes, and that's because Cryptic has made it really difficult.
Guess I should have put your channel here. Sorry. Already. CASUALSAB. Thank you. No, thank
Did
you.
I show you my thumbnail for tomorrow?
No, you have
Dude,
not.
let me show you that. It's
Can you
high
also
quality.
can you also link what you linked in Twitch to YouTube?
Oh yeah.
That's Spencer's channel, captains.
There's the Reddit post on firing modes.
Is here, and we already see who we're gonna go
There's
to.
not a ton of people doing the ground DPS chase, to be honest. There is a ground DPS chase, but it's not very active.
There you go. I think that worked. Yep, there you go. As we can hear, captains, the Spencer is fading out. I did keep him past his. He was doing very good. He was doing very good with his sleep.
Before you turn it off, can you go up and play the sound that I put in earlier called Forzaldi,
No.
please?
Oh. You get one. That's not gonna come as sound command. You get one. Are we clear? Just one.
Okay.
Captains are listening. This is the best time to listen to what I'm about to play because the last time you're gonna hear this. Where'd it go? Ooh, yeah, no, you showed me that. That's a good one. Are you ready?
Yeah.
So, I don't care if you clip it. It ain't gonna be on this. It's on the bridge here.
Hail Satan, brother.
That's all you get. That's all you get. Getting the dad voice from kids. You know it, Waldo.
Oh,
Daddy.
Triz, can you post the link that I put in or approve the comment
Where?
on YouTube? I posted it, but it got filtered out.
I don't see anything from you on YouTube.
Okay, so it completely blocked it out because of it
What did
being
it
a
have?
link. Can you put this link in your YouTube chat?
Oh, yeah.
I just DM'd yeah.
Shouldn't make. Yeah, hold on. The Reddit one.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And do you like that thumbnail for tomorrow?
Yes. Yes. No, you did show me that. Sorry, it was good. Was good. Control V. Bam. There you go. Discord. Okay. Awesome. Thank you. No, I appreciate it. So, anything from you, last, Mr. Spencer, before you pass out there?
You know, game's a really good game. If you go hit the referral link, I haven't on any of my videos, and then try it out. It helps. The 42 of 47 market's really crashed. I could very much benefit from people going through and buying them all up so I can sell mine at a very high price. Also, I have a video coming out in the morning about bonus pools. If people could help me clear the market so that we can flip everything for really nice profit, I would be very grateful. I don't have the EC on hand right now to go buy out all of the bonus pools on the market, but if someone else would like to, the video is going to come out in a couple hours. You know, we can work together and do some real proper market manipulation. This is something that I always get accused of, but little do people know that I never have the EC to actually do it, because as soon as I have enough EC to buy a master key, I buy a master key and gamble because I have a problem, and I have a problem because STO has made me a gambling addict. So if you want to help, buy some of the bonus pools off the market, I'm promoting these all heavily in this video. And I would really, I've got a large supply of these things that I want to put up at a couple mil per. Please buy them up. I want to gamble.
Oh my god, that was filled with so many clippable things. That's why I was covering my mouth. I didn't want to say anything. I mean, I think Master Dude is hard at work there. Or even Goofball, or maybe even Curlin. Oh my god, that was good. I like that. Thank you. That was pretty good.
Aaron's asking us to wreck the economy after complaining about it. I'm joking. But the economy is screwed no matter what, because Cryptic doesn't care about gold sellers, and the gold sellers just have the all their accounts just going like mad. Cryptic doesn't care.
No. Well, I don't want to say they don't. It's just what could
they
really.
Don't.
I mean, anyways. I prefer to troll you, Triz. Wow. Okay. I'll clip it. I'll go back and clip it. That's what I'll do. Okay, captains, again, Spencer, thank you. I do appreciate this. This was awesome.
Yeah, no problem, Triz.
I had fun.
Can I borrow a billion EC? Buy up a bunch of these. Can you go buy up all the 25k fleet credit bonus pools? There's a bunch of cheap ones, and I specifically shot these ones out in the video.
Not gonna happen, sir. I love you. Not gonna happen. Who we're going to see on Twitch here is a Silver Metal Tavern, who is the assistant editor for Strange New Worlds. He's not playing Star Trek, but he's playing League of Legends. But we loved the interview that we did with him. So, captains, again on YouTube, thank you for coming. Along with the captains on Twitch, thank you so much. Make sure to subscribe, follow, do all that stuff. We will be back again tomorrow. We'll see what we can do. Spencer, do me a favor. Can you at least give the captains here a salute? Or whatever you want to do as a goodbye. What are you going to do? A black screen? Is that what you're going to do? What did he do? Be more... I mean, it is what it is. That's captains. I love you all. We're gonna leave it on this note.
Live long.
Oh wait.
And prosper.
And then this.